All right, here we go. No brujeria is gonna stop this, brother.
Wiriko, Indinga. Muna toto tete Nganga. Salam alaikum.
Malaikum salam, brother. Malaikum salam. Brother. So here we go. Now we're live. Now we're doing this. Um, just little disclaimer before we start this is that we don't claim to know everything. What we're gonna talk here is things that our elders have shared with us. We're not gonna go into secrets. Okay. The interview today will be about Briyumba or whatever else you want to share with us, whatever knowledge you have with us. But first, let's start by introducing yourself, how you are. Who you are, and how do you receive the calling to start in these practices?
Well, I was born in these traditions. My grandmother had Obatalame. She was made in 1979. Which is kind of an anomaly because she was made before her baby boomer children. Most baby boomers got into the tradition in terms of, grasping culture from dance class, African drumming class. But my grandmother was, into a lot of civil rights work.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So she was into a lot of civil rights work. So my family was involved in a Pan-African group called the East, Sasa. This was in the 60s, in the 1960s. In 1968, my uncle and them saw Osurgeon Adefumi at a rally, and he said voodoo was the true religion of the black man.
He said that voodoo was the true religion of the black man, the African American. Was he referring to the African American or the African in Africa?
It's just everybody.
Okay.
And so my uncle thought that was most profound. So he started studying, doing his research, and he came across a dude by the name of Adeosi, who was a hunchback. He had Obatalame. He was made by one of the original Santeros in the United States by the name of Assunta Serrano. At this time, my grandmother, so my uncles were like teenagers, and they went and got their first reading, and they got their lekes, and they came home Palm Sunday of 1970, and my grandmother saw them, and they was in their whites and their beads, and she said that they looked different. A week later, my grandmother went to go get some beads. So she got lekes in 1970. By 1979, she was initiated to Obatala by Lloyd Weaver, or Losumi, who constructed the very first firm African-American house in the United States, meaning the first ocha that was done where there was not a Cuban in the room was done in Lloyd Weaver's house, where the Oriente was black, Renard Simmons, Shango Dei, who became a Babalao Ifa Lafia, and the godparents, the Ajibonas, and all the Santeros that came to work with African Americans.
Is this house still? Is this house still exists? Does it still run?
Yeah, it's a very profound house in New York. It's under the banner of Ile Ashe now. His wife at the time, OK Shande, Stephanie Weaver, came from another line of Ocha, so she bred a line of Ocha, and then he did, and then those two houses together made up the core of African American tradition. Now there were other African Americans who were priests, but they weren't having a functioning house without their Hispanic godparent, their Cuban godparent. Because Lloyd was made by an African American woman who was one of the first to make Ocha in the United States. Her name was Shango Gumi. Now, at this time, Palo is very, very secretive. They don't talk about it. It is something that they do, and they kind of keep it quiet. Now, for reasons that at this time, the majority of the Paleros that were in the United States were gangsters, right?
Yes.
They were gangsters. They were cocaine cowboys, right? So the African Americans that came into the tradition originally came by way of, academics, so to speak, dance class, colleges, things of that nature. So the Palo was it was a mixie. A lot of people didn't want to be bothered with them because they were gangsters. So my uncles were scratched somewhere in like 1972. Okay, by this. All I remember, all that they ever gave me was a dude by the name of Umberto.
Okay.
Umberto was a gangster, and they was operating in Boston at the time. Umberto got his head, he was decapitated over some drug shit.
Oh, wow.
Right? And they decapitated him because they knew he was a brujo. So they was like, they was going to go through, the extremes to get rid of him. Later on, my uncle hooked up with a very famous Kimbisa Tata by the name of Babon. Okay?
Okay.
Babon is a Kimbisa letter. He's a Cuban. I think he has Changome. Babon was responsible for a lot of Americans being scratched in the house of in Kimbisa, House of Good Journey in the United States. Okay?
What state was this in?
This was in New York.
New York, okay.
Right? Now, I got scratched in the house of Congo Avicennia Brahma. Congo Avicennia Brahma came here with Oreste Valdez. Okay? Oreste Valdez was a white Cuban. He looked like Santa Claus.
Aristide Valdez.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, he came here, they said sometime in like the 40s or early 50s he came here. Because he was a white Cuban, he was afforded certain privileges. He was able to move around.
Okay.
Oreste used to do readings for the people at his job. That he became famous and began to acquire a Palo house.
Okay.
Now, the folklore is that he took his Makuto and swallowed the gear to bring his Nganga here. Okay? And we're going to get into that.
Okay.
As to why you can't bring the Nganga over cross water.
Okay.
Okay, so now, he established this house of Briumba. Now, he was initiated by a man by the name of Juan Dreke.
Juan Dreke, okay.
Juan Dreke was a Haitian man. His real name was John Drake, but the Cubans call him Juan Dreke.
Okay.
Now, the story that was told to me by my godfather was that Juan Dreke and them came at the beginning of the 20th century, in the 1900s. At this time, mayombe was controlled by three trunks. Sacampeña, Vititi Congo, and another one of that, the name eludes me. If I hear it, I remember it. But essentially what was told to me is that those three trunks had the Bakula from Africa.
Okay.
And those Ngangas were in Ngango batallas. They came in crocodile skulls. But because it was a sociedad, the young Tatas who were Creoles, who had a different context of morality, didn't have access to these trunks. So at this time, a lot of them would take jobs in the Catholic churches so that they could have some money.
Wow.
In doing so, they observed the Catholics using bones in the cornerstones of erecting their churches. So the Gangoleros saw that. Now, it was said that originally the Briumberos, before they got Briumba, they had gone through some stages. So the first stage that they went into was them creating the bombas, right? And the bombas were safe because they could hang them up and it wasn't in the sky and it wasn't on the ground. So it kind of make the Mfumbe like kind of being like in a stagnant state, in a static state, right? Okay. It's not grounded. Now, with this style, they didn't necessarily use Nkisi as the medicine, but it more as what they call un garabato.
Okay.
Right? So that staff is named after the real, so some people use patipemba, pero en mi munazo que usa the garabato.
Okay.
Right? Because FEMA is a Creole word. Okay. And so the concept is the garabato pulls things to it. So when they put the femur down, the garabato, they can put whatever minkisi that they want and then drop the infumbe on top of it to activate it.
Interesting.
But the problem with that was the bugs got to it. And so eventually the Nganga would fall out of the bag. So then they started using the Guido. But the Guido, over time, the bugs and the environment begins to eat the Guido and it starts to erode. So then that's when they went into bottle. They started putting the Gangas in bottle.
And clay, yes.
In clay. But that cracks. So the first Nkisi they talk about, they put it in the caldero. And they created what they had, which was a treaty, which was Briumba. Because they understood that it wasn't important of whose bone it was, that they just needed a bone to activate the Nganga. Right?
So they didn't use the ancestral bone.
Nah, because they didn't have access to the Bakula. It was in the Gangdo Bataya, and the old timers wouldn't. You had to pay them to get to it. Right? Because the old Mayomberos lived like fucking Congos. They lived outside. They lived under little shacks. They sleep next to their Ganga. They really be about that Ganga because there wasn't any divination materials at this time. The only divination material they had was the Vitiki Meso. And so they had to put the Vitiki Meso to their third eye and put it to the Ganga, for the Ganga to talk to them. So you had to be a mortero. You had to talk with the dog.
Okay. So before we go into that, where does Brother Oba come? Your story. How do you?
So what happens is, when I was young, I used to get into a lot of trouble.
We all do.
So I was always, my mother was coming home and she'd be somewhere, they doing something, and they're like, "Where's the boy?" So she'd come home and snatch me up and take me to my uncle's house. Now at this time, like I said, Palo is something that they don't really talk about. It's in the basement. You see the Nganga, they be like, "Don't bother that shit," right? So my uncle had a chola and a lucero. Now my uncle was a proficient gangulero, but he wasn't a proficient tata. He'd tell you, like, he don't remember the songs to sing. If he's singing them, yeah, he'll chime in, but he don't remember the order of things. So it was they had a hard time trying to get me scratched. So the first thing I went through, I was like about 10, they chained me to the Nganga. Right? So that I wouldn't die. So I wouldn't die in the street. So they had to put my left foot on top of the Nganga and they put a chain and they fed it to create a fatal. My uncle couldn't find this tata because, at this time, like I said, the tatas was gangsters and they was transient. They was always moving around.
Yes. Back in the 70s, there was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, you get scratched by a dude, you might not see him for 5 years. You feel me? Yeah. So what happened was I got into some shit in my late teens, early 20s. And they got me out of jail. And my uncle was like, "Yo, you gotta swear to the Nganga now. Like, this is what it's gonna be." So they found my godfather, Louis Sarabanda, who was an excellent gangulero, right? Now, my godfather is Panamanian. Mm-hmm. He was scratched by Dimas Perez. Right?
Dimas Perez, yes.
Okay. But Dimas was scratched by Oreste. Okay? So him and Dimas had a conflict. And Oreste saw the value of my godfather. He saw how good he was. And so he took him in. And he began to teach him on his own. So that my godfather's Sarabanda was built by Oreste. Okay? Now, like I said, I knew Louis all my life because we're in the same Ocha community. So I play with his kids outside the tambor. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I didn't bother with him because he was always getting possessed. And when you're a kid, you don't want no parts of that shit. So, so I used to, be on the outskirts. So anyway, when I got to be 19, I got into some shit. And they were like, "Yo, you gotta go swear Hura Nganga." So my uncle got a hold of Louis at the time, and Louis was kind of retired. Like, he wasn't dealing with Palo no more. So my uncle kind of like pressed him, like, look, man, I ain't asked you. I'm telling you, like, because they go back. They like brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So he came out of retirement and he jurado me originally over a Santeria. And later on, I got into some more shit. And so I came to see him, and one day he was like, yo, you got to get this out of banda. And that's when I got scratched tata, right, when I was 20.
Mm.
And he, so my uncle used to say to him, this is my general, right? Because I always had a proclivity to the religion, because even with the Ocha shit, I was very receptive to it, right?
So you already with Ocha when you got scratched?
Yeah, well, you got to understand, my mother made Ocha in 1988. So she's the youngest of my family members. So you got to understand, my grandmother makes Ocha in 1979. Every year after that, up until 88, one of my family members is making Ocha. So all of the adults in my family are probably in their 40s in Ocha right now, right? So when my mother made Ocha, I had to receive Oya washed.
Oh.
When I was 11. Because anytime a parent is being initiated, it's important to make sure that the children are covered so that one doesn't go up and the other goes down.
Yes.
So my fedifun egun, my fedifun ocha, because at that time that was not a regular thing to give that type of an Orisha to an aleo, right? But it's the only thing that took on the mat. So, and I remember because my godmother at the time, she had to get on the phone and make a phone call. Like, yo, I ran into a dead end. And then over the phone call, some other priests guided her through, and then so they ended up marking me to receive Oya. Now, this is important because of Oya's relationship to Egun. So,
it was this is in that African American house that you mentioned.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you have no
So,
ties to the Cuban.
no, because
Okay.
I made Ocha in Cuba.
Okay.
So now, I make Ocha when I'm 28 with a woman by the name of Matiga Sanchez. She has
Martha Sanchez.
Yemonjami
Okay.
on Milade.
Or
She has
Milad.
Yemonjami for about 47 years. She lives in Kendall, Miami.
Mm.
My uncle, because they were from New York, my uncle left and went to Miami. And in being in Miami, being with the Santeros, he needed somebody to represent him to feed his Aganju. They introduced him to Matiga. My godmother saw him and recognized him from his godfather's house because my godmother used to write the libretas for the Ocha because she spoke English, okay? Because her godfather, Victor Garcia, was one of the first orientators in New York City. His name was Oshun Toki, right? Don Victor. Don Victor is the one who taught African Americans Ocha because he taught Lloyd Weaver how to make an asiento. He showed them everything in Kari Ocha so that they were able to do it independently from the Cubans. So I kind of I come from the African American house that comes from Cubans, but I ended up going back and making Ocha in Cuba with Cubans, okay?
Okay.
My Ajabona lives in Havana. She has Changome. Her name is Elena Gonzalez. She has Changome for 20 years. A Gangulera, Espiritista, all of that good shit, right? So I come from, this is my culture. Like, I don't know anything else. You understand? I might come home or I might go to a family member's house and they're going to have a misa. Oh, shit. All your stuff going to come out. Damn it. They're like, oh, shit. Right? So this is culture for me. I don't know anything else. This is how I acquired the name Oba. My mother had, but she didn't have Ocha then, but my mother had Orisha. She was an Orisha by the time I was born. Before I was born, my mother had a local Ibeji, her warriors. So I grew up in the house with Ocha. I grew up in the house with a Nganga. Like I said, now, the Nganga shit, like I said, in those days, they was hush hush. They didn't talk about it. If you wasn't scratched and they started a conversation and you walked in and you wasn't scratched, they would shut the fuck up. They would stop talking.
And some houses
Right?
are still that way.
Yeah.
Very
I'm talking
secretive.
about they would be like, if you said something and they'd be like, yo, you hoot out? The person would be like, nah. They'd be like, if you ain't in the purpose, shut the fuck up. Like, that shit's secret.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Palo, so now understand. So now this is the phenomenon that happened. The last time I got into trouble, I was in prison. I was in jail. I was in Rikers Island, and I was facing some serious charges. And my uncle said, "Listen, I fed." Should I understand? At this time, all I know is Lucero, because that's the Nganga that my uncle got. I don't know nothing else. So we go. So every time my uncle say something, hey man, we going to feed Lucero. That's all I know. We're gonna do Palo, right? So at this time, you gotta understand, I know mambos and shit like that because my uncle be singing that shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
And making us sing. So I be holding the rooster for him. So he's telling me, listen, man, Lucero says, I done fed Lucero the goat. He says, you're gonna get out. He said, but I spoke to the Tata, and he said he did something for you with Sarabanda. So I'm like, who? He like, yeah, man, Sarabanda, that's like a boom. Okay. So one day I'm in the unit, and this Spanish dude comes in, and he got these long braids, but he got a neck full of beads. And this is in a time like post gang shit, so they don't really be letting you have no beads on Rikers Island.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I see the beads, and I know that these are not botanical beads because I know the difference. I'm like, oh, he come from House of Ocha. So I wait for a couple of days. So I approach him. I'm like, yo, what's up with them beads? He's like, wow, what's up? I'm like, nah, bendición. He's like, oh, santo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, what you in here for? He's like, oh, I'm in here for a body. I'm like, oh, word? He's like, yeah, but I'm going home. I said, oh, so your family done put the santos on the floor? He said, nah, my friend, they're going to get me out. I said, yo, I said, oh, you do Palo? He said, yeah. He said, my Sarabanda's going to get me out. I said, oh, yeah, I heard of that. That's like, oh, boom. He like, yeah. He said, I'm getting out of here. So at the end of the conversation, I'm like, dude is talking stupid, whatever. About a week go by. One day I'm sitting in the day room, and something tapped me on the shoulder, and I just heard, where's the dude at? So I look, and I'm like, yo, where the Spanish guy with the beads at? And everybody's like, who are you talking about? I'm like, the Spanish dude with the beads, man. They're like, nah, I don't know who you're talking about. But anyway, I go to the thing, and they're like, oh, yeah, he went home. He went home? They're like, yeah, he got acquitted. What?
Wow.
I said, oh, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So I called my uncle, like, yo. He said, nah, man, it's up to you now. You got to get out. It's all in your hands. So I'm just listening to him like, what kind of Chinese riddle are you telling me? What are you talking about? One day, out of nowhere, they just take me and they put me in solitary. They put me in solitary for 31 days.
Wow.
When I get out of solitary, I go to court, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to go to court. X, Y, Z. Make a long story short, I walk out of there. Okay? That was my introduction to the ego. Now, the interesting thing is the kid that I met with the beads on, when I asked him what Ochi, he said he had I got you made. So he mentions I got you inside a banda. Nonetheless, the person who scratches me has I got you made inside a banda.
Interesting.
Okay? Okay. I say that to say that this shit is always in motion, even before you even see it.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so my handicap is that I didn't speak Spanish. So I would be with my godfather, but some of the mambos I didn't really understand because it didn't mean anything to me because I didn't speak Spanish. And so I used to have, it was a struggle. So my godfather would tell me, listen, a glass of water and talk to the Egun and tell the Egun to talk to you so that you'll understand them. And so I started to do that. And slowly but surely, the language began to open up to me so that I understood it, right? From a Creole standpoint, because
yes.
a lot of my Eguns, they speak Bosal, okay? Which is a culmination of a bunch of African shit, okay? So now, when you see me as Brother Oba, that's because I watched a lot of people spread a lot of misinformation. And one thing that I became very apparent, and this was conversations with my uncle, was that My uncle said the Nganga don't work without a glass of water and a candle. Okay? It don't move without a glass of water and a candle because the entire tradition or the philosophy comes out of the Kalunga, comes out of water.
Okay.
So the Nsimbis are stronger than any other Impungos. Know that. So what I understood was, which wasn't even told to me, was I understood that at the Mesa Blanca, the female Nsimbis was there prevalent because the water was there.
Mm-hmm.
So Francisca, La Caridad, right? La Regla, Tomasa, these spirits, they're always at the table because there's water there.
Mm-hmm.
The Nganga don't got but un pico agua inside in the Makuto, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not enough for it to necessarily draw on water spirits. So you have to ask yourself, well, how does Kalunga work?
Mm-hmm.
It got dirt in it. Where's the water? So this is why Umbaso Agua becomes, the glass of water becomes so important. Because without it, you're not, because the water is the strongest element of spiritualism or spirituality, period. It is the eldest and the strongest. It will defeat everything. This is why Fela Kuti says water ain't got no enemy, right? So what happens is I began to understand, and my godfather's a hell of a spiritualist, but he don't really do that shit. They call it Buenas noches. He'd be like, I don't want to fuck with the Buenas noches. Leave me alone, right? Because he'd be like, man, leave me alone with the Buenas noches because he's going to get possessed. But he steered me in that direction. Go, sit the misa, because you have to learn how to develop your spirits. Because people tell you, oh, my muerto, and be like, all right, well, what's his name? You're talking about your muerto. What's your muerto's name? Because if you're going to take this information from this and advice from this spirit, you should have some sort of a connection and know that you will be able to give this spirit when they're wrong.
Yes.
Right? Accountability. Oh, mi muerto. What muerto? No. What's their name? So this comes through from having cultivation and spiritualism, right? And so what happens is that everybody gets caught up in, because I'm not going to go into the whose history is right or wrong. I'm just telling you what I've been told.
Yes.
The battles
Your personal opinion.
And put together in Nganga that has a function.
Okay.
Right? So there's a reason why Sarabanda has a chain and a lock around him. Okay? There's a reason for that. There's a reason. So now, when we understand that the same elements of philosophy that are applied to Masonry,
yes,
to Masonic shit, is applied to, comes out of the Congo. So the old Ganguleros that didn't make Ocha, that were Ganguleros, they had a certain amount of Ngangas that proverbially create a whole entire person. In Sambe.
Yes.
So un Sarabanda, un Kiyumba, un Santeria, una pata, brazo fuerte for the arm, Kalunga for the other arm, Chola for the other leg, right? They have these different things that build up this person to make it ensamble, right? Okay. But modernism and urbanism takes over. And so the conversation was that the Ganguleros, they had to have wives, and most of their wives were Bukumi or Nago women.
Of course.
And they're like, yo, you can't bring that fucking pot in here that don't, because the shit don't sleep. So you bring that shit in the house, that shit walking around all night. You see pattern, knocking on the door and shit. Motherfuckers be like, man, that shit out of my house. Right? So part of the thing was that the Brion Battles invented a ganga that they could bring in the house, right? That could be domesticated, right? So this is why they have certain things where the ganga be sleeping. You got to put the unafulaso to wake the ganga up. Lumbe, 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 la cueva ganga. It's time to work.
Yeah.
Because they're waking them up. Because they have Palo, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking up. So now, pay attention to the verbiage. And Mimo Naso, we have a connection to Agwe. Okay? And so they talk about Agwe. Agwe is what connects us to the Dahomians. Okay?
Can you repeat
Agwe
that
is
again? I didn't hear that.
Agwe
Okay, connects you to what?
to the Dahomians,
Oh, the homians. Okay.
to the Benin people,
Okay.
right? Agwe is the real name for Olokun.
Okay.
Okay? It is what is the so that they talk about a simpler style of spiritualism that existed within Central and West Africa prior to the concept of Lukumi, Orisha, and Nganga, all of that. There was this other thing going on. They talk about Agwe and Sagwe. Agwe mi padre, Sagwe mi madre.
Yes.
Right? Okay. That's some Dahomey shit.
Mm-hmm.
We limit ourselves with the understanding that we think that these places before the colonizers came had these fucking border lines and things of that nature, or these people weren't aware of their neighbors and shit like that. No, this is people, they are constantly trading amongst each other.
Yes.
And in doing so, they bring concepts that become fact. Like, oh, you can't deny that. So yeah, I'm gonna take that deity with me and I'm gonna add it to the pantheon. Now you leave and we might rename it, right? In our tongue.
Yes.
And so you don't recognize it again when you see it, but it's the same shit. So back to the Kalunga. The people in the Nzanga and Doki, they live in the forest. What the fuck they know about the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're talking about the ocean, what? So there's a common thread amongst the West Africans and the Central Africans about life coming out of the ocean, and the ocean being the progenitor of everything.
Mm-hmm.
The Kalunga. Olokun. Olokun is it's not by accident in Lukumi that Olokun is the first Orisha that you receive. Because when you get the warriors, that ain't really Orisha. That's just, they ain't got no Dilagoons.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you get Olokun that you get Orisha, because it got all the components to what Orisha is: the pot, the pieces, the stones, the shells, all that. So
Well,
this is Olokun.
I'm gonna say something. I don't practice Lukumi, so this is new for me. So just letting you know that I'm not into Lukumi, but I'm listening.
I'm showing you. See, because what happens is we think that there's these lines of delineation.
Mm-hmm.
So understand that the Congos put the Nganga in the Caldero, and then the Orisha people saw that and then put Ogun in the Caldero.
Oh wow! So that's like a copy of what the Congos.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
always. That's
No,
interesting.
Sarabanda in the Caldero came before Ogun in the Caldero. Okay? So you see the Elegba, the Garabato shit don't belong to the Yorubas. That's the fucking Congo stick.
Mm.
Garabato, Ngoya.
Yeah.
Garabato.
Go.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. It pulls the Ngo, you could fight with the leopard with that shit.
Yes.
Okay. So that shit ain't fucking Yoruba, but what they saw is the value in it. So they absorbed it into their tradition and gave it to a Legba. Okay?
Mm.
So now, at the same time, this is where all of this Chamalongo and Kobo stuff come from. Like I said early on, the Congos, that definition ain't about no throwing no stuff. It's about talking to the Umbititi Menso. Bititi Menso allows you to see.
Yes. It's the eyesight.
Right?
Having the
Right, because
eyesight.
it's
That's
from an herb.
spirituality.
No, but it's from an herb.
Yeah.
It's a vine in the Congo that goes around, and if you eat it, it will give you foresight.
Mm.
So the Congo see this divination system. They adopt it. Okay? Because Chamalongos, they didn't use no coconuts. But what they use sort of value is the sound of the coconut sounded like the rattling of the bones.
Mm.
Okay? So they see the value in that. The same way that even in Ocha today, they have impakas that go to certain Orishas that come from their conversation with them being with the Congo.
Interesting.
Right? Because there are Orishas that live like Congos. The Ajogun, the warriors, the Legba Buno Chosia, they live outside.
Yes.
They're hunters. They're hunter-gatherers. So they understand Congo mentality. This is why gunpowder and these things are acceptable to these Orishas in that realm. So we got to give credit to the fact that the men that were Congos were married to Santeros. Okay? And so there was an amalgamation and a switching of things so that spiritualism becomes the even playing grounds for Francisca will have Ocha and be a Gangulero.
Yes.
Right? Because it is the construct. So that eventually Lukumi didn't mean Ocha. It meant you deal with spiritualism, Palo, Orishas, and Ifa. Okay? So that because there was a time when the tradition was under persecution, and the people that were under the greatest persecution were the Paleros and the Nyanyigos and the Abakwa. Because they were secret.
Yes.
People don't like secret. You don't know what's going on. Now, what alleviated that hysteria was Andres Petit initiating the Mundeles. He said, because I heard what Yancey said, but the way it was taught to me was, Andres said, ain't none of you Africans got no shoes. And so the white man go everywhere, and wherever he go, he gonna take my religion with him. And so he changed the hysteria that was going on the island because he allowed some white folks to get inside to be like, nah, they ain't killing no people in there.
So he had a purpose, and yet he still was put down and called a traitor, even though he was thinking to save his tradition.
What? That's just like any prophet. You know, when Noah's building the ark, they're looking at him like he's stupid. Like, what is he doing? So my godfather was a brilliant battle, but the conversation came that no, Andres Petit saved the religion.
Now, you, as a Gangulero, I'm going to get into this. Do you think it's okay to have mundeles? Is there, like a lot of people say, well, we can't accept white people in the religion because they don't have no African ancestors. Your opinion?
Okay, so here's my opinion. When you deal in spiritualism, you have commissions.
Comisiones, yes.
Right. And in the commissions, you have these different wisdoms that come from different areas and regions of the world. Right? When you look at how they compartmentalize, los Congos, right? Los Indios, los Chinos, right? Los Gitanas, las Madamas. These are concepts and these are structures that are created so that you understand that the spirit comes from a certain region that has a particular type of wisdom that is cultural and environmental based, right? So that Los Chinos, this spirit is about making money and about trade and about commerce, right? Los Marineros, you go to Los Marineros when you're in the shit, when you stuck in some stuff and you can't get yourself out. They're supposed you say the prayers of the shipwreck so that you find the lighthouse, so that you find stability, right? So with that understanding, the same way that an African has a fucking spirit of a Lithuanian fucking Gitana, the same way as a white person is going to have a Congo.
And right? I'm glad you say that because there's a lot of, I'm not trying to disrespect them, but there's a lot of hatred here towards the Mundele or towards the white people trying to get into any type of African tradition. Hoodoo, whether it's Ocha, whether it's Voodoo, whether it's Palo, and they don't understand the concept that you just explained.
Yeah, because that's why we have spiritualism. This is why. So if you ever, there's a museum in Havana called the Lukumi Museum, Lukumi, whatever. It's in Central Havana. I mean, in Havana Vieja, right across from the White House. When you go there, they have an exhibit. The exhibit starts with a boveda because they said, out of many come one. So we must acknowledge. So now let's just start with the fact that all religion is ancestral based. All religion.
Yes.
You talking about Jesus Christ? If you think he lived and died, he's dead, that's an ancestor. You worshiping the ancestor. The same goes for Abraham, Muhammad, Siddhartha, Buddha, whoever. So we understand that unequivocally, ancestral worship is the foundation for us to even have a perception of God.
Exactly. In Doki Yaya.
In Doki Yaya, right?
Yeah.
So now, with that understanding, we recognize that we are a multitude of different things, okay? Especially the Creole. See, this is there was a rift between the Africans that were dying off and the Criollos. The Criollos are saying, listen, your morals don't apply here. We in the shit. We got to figure out a way to necessarily get this shit together. So we're not hearing all of those old African fucking edicts that y'all got because this shit don't work because that's why y'all here. This was the conflict between the Criollos. So now, there is something that most people don't understand. Sarabanda and Santeria represent Joaquin and Boaz, the same thing that Joaquin and Boaz represent in Masonry. They are the pillars that allow you to walk into the Campo Santo or into the Infinda. If you ever seen any of those old Palo theatrical shit from the Conjunto folkloric shit, if you pay attention, one dude has the Palo Yaya as the Garabato and an Yoka. The other dude has an Embele. The dude with the Garabato represents Malongo, the old way. The dude with the Embele represents Palo Mayombe, the Criollo shit, because the machete is actually an instrument of servitude. You out there cutting cane.
So you just said something, and it's a question I'm gonna ask. So when people nowadays, if I got you about Malongo has nothing to do with Mayombe, right?
No, Malongo is the old. See, because the Nganga was the human being at one time.
Okay, so the question is here: when somebody comes in here and say, "I'm a Tate Kisi Malongo," aren't they claiming two things?
Well, see, that's an epithet that comes with the old tatas, right? And what that really means, what it was really given to is those who pass a dog. Those who mounted a dog in Nganga, un perro en Nganga, is Tata and Kisi Malongo. Right? Because that motherfucker, see, because that dog, when that shit come out, that shit gonna do some superhuman shit. Right? You know that movie Split, when the nigga be climbing the walls and all that?
Yeah.
That shit is fucking the Pero and Nganga. That shit is. Right?
Okay.
And so one who is able to manage that, because the Nkisi, or not the Nkisi, because you don't really see the Nkisi, it's the Ngando that comes out, right? Mbois, they call it. When that shit gets a hold of you, there is a symbiotic relationship that you can't be weak because it'll take you over. So the one who's able to come out.
Exactly, Tata Yancy. Yo mismo soy Nganga. Mimito soy Nganga.
So when you able to be like that and come out of that shit and you can shake them off, that's Tata Nkisi Malongo, because this nigga has control, right? Because the Malongo is referring to the order, to putting these things in order.
But
right?
Nowadays, brother, there are not many people that still do the ceremony of perro en ganga. People nowadays do not receive the ceremony of perro en ganga. Let's be honest.
Because don't nobody want to get cut. When you like, oh, this nigga did what? Oh, yeah. Let's see what you really made of. Because that shit, listen, I love my albums, I love my ganga, all that. And I'm not afraid of him, but that shit is that shit is real. There's been times he's come down and done some superhuman shit. He done broke the Embele into 3 pieces, all kinds of crazy shit.
Exactly.
Tondo le kwama.
Tondo le kwame.
You feel me? Yeah. So a lot of people don't want to do that because a lot of people, even with Orisha traditions and Spiritismo, people like to get they want the soft version. They want the potpourri version, right? And so they don't want to dig into that shit like that anymore. So people They okay, but they're not gonna really take you down that road. So see, because there's a thing about everybody goes Palo, what Palo is pure, right? Historically, the Mani Congo converted to Christianity in the 1400s. What are we talking about?
Yes.
They was having mass in the Congo, and by the Kwanzaa River, they was having mass, like hundreds of people, right?
So Christianity started in the Congo and then was brought to the island already. The Congo was Christianized already. It didn't happen in the island.
No, it didn't happen in the island. It happened in the Congo. And then
many people don't know that.
We also have to factor in the Canary Islands. So there's these islands on the side of Africa that they're like slaving factories, right? And this is where they be breaking some of them before they bring them to the New World. So a lot of the brujos were imprisoned in the Canary Islands. And in there, they started to learn different magic from different regions. Okay? And in that, this is where all of the brutality of Palo Mayombe came from.
Hold on. You see the comment there, Eric? You put a comment there. You know Eric? Tata Eric? Colon?
Yeah, I know what it is, yeah.
Okay. The Mbele represents war, and Kisi and Nganga and Gome is the person who mounts the Yambi, el perro de prenda. Okay.
I ain't saying anything that sound crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So now, they've been doing Christianity for 200 years before they were brought here.
Mm-hmm.
This is why they had the Kimpavita Wars. The Kimpavita rebellion was about her trying to get them to put down the Christian ways. Okay? So when you put that mix together, like I said, because they got some shit from the Canary Islands. That's where they get that whole shit, Santo Tomás. Ve para creer. Because the island of Santo Tomás, the motherfuckers is over there was real brujos. Don't tell me about it, man. Show me. Right? I don't believe what you're telling me. Let me see it. Right? So the witchcraft is a little bit tweaked. It's not the same thing that came out of the Congo. Because the Congo is about medicine and about healing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they don't talk about una regla la sutukumani, which is what you really swear to be in service of the community. This is why Andres Petit brought back Kimbisa, because Kimbisa was a fraternity within the Mani Congo. Mm. Because he saw them doing corrupt and foul shit. So he said, nah, we're going to start the House of Kimbisa, right? So that we can get back to the morals of the Congos, of the society, not the slaves.
Give me a second. My wife is listening to the, and I don't want the echo. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So what happens is, before we get to the new world, Congo is already changing rapidly. Okay, and this is why they have this. There's a conversation where they keep talking about Mosumdi in Angola. Mm-hmm. Like, where you from? Kinani, Congo. Yeah. Right? Kindiambo. When am I fimpi yo gango? Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. He starts saying where he from. Mm-hmm. So now I know whether or not the place that you're from has been infected. What's going on? It tells me about the politics and everything that's going on over there. Because we get it twisted and think that the Congos, they're a very, very civilized, high civilized society. Let's not get that shit fucked up. They have a government. You understand?
Yes.
They got government and they have different departments of heads of departments of different things.
Exactly.
Of agriculture, of war, so, and what we don't talk about is the fact that they're in contact with the Twa, who is the real progenitor of all of this, right? Because the idea is that really the Mpongos and the Ngisas are little fucking pygmies. Because the idea of the Nganga is that the Nganga is a microcosm of the macro.
Yes.
So when you are controlling the Nganga, so most people think So it's something. This goes. It's relative. My uncle, one of my uncles, who as I got you, is an astrologer for years, for decades, and he used to say some shit to me that I never caught until I became an adult. He said, "The stars don't influence us; they just mirror what's going on down here." And I was like, "What? How do you say that? And you're an astrologer?" No, the idea is that the Congo puts down the patipembo on the floor and puts the fulasos there to send up a flare. And it makes the stars go into a configuration to open up certain portals. This is why you hear them keep talking about the Carire.
Yeah.
Because when they saw the Big Dipper, they knew that they were still on the same planet. Right?
Exactly.
So they have a knowledge, so they don't get the credit for even creating Kemet. That's nobody talks about that. The Congo is before Kemet. That's why I did a lecture about that shit years ago. Congo before Kemet. When you look at Kemet, the first deity is Best. He's a pygmy with fucking leopard skin on. Ngo, dale we dale niño, Ngo.
Yes.
The leopard is always going to be the thing that connects everybody, even the Orisha people, because it's about Ekun. That's why my name on this is Ekun. Ekun is the leopard. Ngo, that shit is what creates the royalty. Because the Ngo taught human beings in their early stages how to climb and live up in the trees. That's what saved us from the last couple of fucking cataclysms. Okay? The Ngo live in the tree. He ain't like the rest of them mammals. He'd be up in the tree. He ain't involved in all that shit that's going on down here. So he's not affected by the magnetic pulses of the earth. Okay?
Okay.
So now, as far as I understand, so people go in Sasi. The old timers call him Sambrano.
Sambrano.
Right? And it's something that you don't necessarily capture. You catch it when it comes down. And you use it then and make your request. Right? I've had the luxury of being in Madruga in Cuba. It's a little town on the outskirts of Matanza. It's where they ride donkeys. There ain't even no cars over there. And my godmother's ex-husband, his family and them have land up there. There used to be a plantation. And on that land, they got these Ngangas that are, I don't even want to exaggerate, but they're about 200 plus years old. Right? And they're buried in the ground. Right? These Ngangas are buried in the ground. Now.
That's old school, man.
Yeah. Now they maintain these Ngangas and they go out there and they play fucking mambo and yambala for that shit, but they don't be cutting nobody over them shits. Because this is what's important. Everybody worries about the stilo of Palo and all that. For me, been going to Cuba, all the time that I've been going to Cuba, I can tell you from street to street, block to block, neighborhood, they be having some different shit going on.
Everything is different.
Yeah, they got their own shit because there should be like family shit, and that's the Tratados, and that's how they move it. Now, this family I'm talking about, they're all scratch Kambisa. But those Ngangas out there that they have on the family property, that shit is mayombe.
So, and this is something I always get into, and people, it's just, they don't get it. They expect a Nganga and Nganga to be like a replica of theirs.
Right.
They expect Ngangas to be all the same, and they say, well, it should be this. Everything has their own tratado. Every family, every tribe has their own tratados.
Well, see, in my house, when you get Nganga, it's only fundamentals that go in there. We have our fundamental, matari, makuto, shit like that, right? Now, as a Tata, if you are a person that is very spiritually inclined, because I promise you, for the amount of years I've been scratching, the amount of years as a Gangulero, I've probably given out a handful of Ngangas. Okay? And it had to be in a situation where the Ganga was like, yeah, this person needs it. Like, I got a guy, so he don't know no fucking rest or nothing. But he be sitting in there with in the closet with that Nganga and his cigar, and that Nganga make it happen for him. He ain't scratching nobody. He ain't doing no brewery to nobody. He's just defending himself, right? When I gave him the Nganga, the Nganga, Sarabando was like, yo, he need a Sarabando Vesepetay. I'm like, yo, I don't want to give him no Nganga. He's like, look, man, this is what he needs. So now, my godson at the time was a sanitation driver. He drive a sanitation truck, right? One day, he was leaving a bar. He was too drunk, so he pulled over and went to sleep. But he left the car on. The trooper came in to stick his hand in to turn the car off, and my godson woke up and started beating him up. So he got assault to a police officer, DUI. This shit, they done took his license away from him. He can't drive, so he can't work. And he got to fight this case against this assault against this police officer. I built that in Nganga for him. The night that this shit was getting sombra, the next morning they gave him his license back so he could go back to work. By the time he entregado la Nganga in his house, they had necessarily thrown out the case because the officer said he stopped pressing charges because he understood that my godson he woke him up. He didn't know what was going on.
Yes.
He said he did the same thing. So now, I say that to say that I very rarely give out a prenda. I'm not giving you to be out here doing no hocus pocus and shit. But what I give you is the fundamental. Now, if you're spiritually inclined, I'm going to throw something in there. And that's between me and the spirit. Later on, when you come to me and be like, Padrino, what is such and such? I seen this in the Nganga. Then I know that the Nganga's talking to you. Okay? Now, every other treaty that you make, whatever I don't care how many spiders you put in it, how many turtle doves, whatever you put in it, that's between you and that Nganga because that's the treaty between you and the Nganga. I shouldn't know that.
Oh, of course you can. That's the your godson's secreto, his secret.
Exactly. That's what
then
makes him
how can he defend himself if you attack him too?
See? Why? You feel me?
I got you.
So some people be like, oh, it'd be a list and all of this stuff. I'm like, nah. That
Even though you make an old menga
Nganga.
kumenga, some godfathers are assholes. Let's just say
right, because they're gonna put some shit. Listen, my godfather will fuck you up. Don't get it twisted. You throw a went back. Listen, my godfather was like, yo, listen, one day I'm gonna throw some shit at you. If you don't send it back, I know I've been wasting my fucking time. It is that not that's what we're gonna do in Palo, but I need to see that you're at least observant and awake. You're that conscious that you could catch what was going on and you could send it back.
Listen, that's one of my godfathers in Texas used to do that. He said, he said one of these days, so you can feel how it is when you're under attack and see how you defend yourself. If you have not learned anything, then like you said, I wasted my time.
Yeah.
That was a test.
Yeah, you have to be qualified. See, that's the problem with the internet world today. Everybody want to put on a moniker and all this, but who qualified you? See, it was never a time that I was like, oh, Padrino, I want to scratch somebody. That's not how that went. I used to bring people to his house to get readings. One day he was like, yo, stop bringing them to my house. I'm like, Padrino. He's like, yo, you do it. I'm like, man, cut the shit. He's like, no, you good enough, do it. So I would do small readings for people, right? Then I would do readings and he would be in the presence. So then it would go, when we would do a Rayamiento, he'd be like, you do the vaca, and I'll be throwing the in Kobo, right? And giving the conversation. Then one day, we was doing the fucking Rayamiento and he handed me the yaya and the belly. And he fucking said the motherfucking tratao over me. Boom. All right, get busy. He said, if you fuck up, I'm going to hit you with this wataka. Let's go. Right?
You have one of those.
Yeah. So understanding that, it wasn't like I just jumped off the fucking porch and started skating. No. My elders had to qualify me to be like, nah, you ready to do that. Even with the Oriate thing, people be like, oh, it's Oriate. I'm like, nah. Right? But when it was time for me to start scraping, my godfather in Cuba was like, yo, what you waiting for? I'm like, he's like, you know enough. So I did my first scraping in the United States. The night before, I was on the phone with them. When I finished, when I went back to Cuba, he qualified me. Same thing with the Palo. My first Nganga, my godfather had to come and put his hands on the yaya, and my yaya had to come and put her hands on it to see whether or not the shit was right or not. You feel me?
Yes.
So what happens is people get caught up in all the spookisms. Mfumbe, the dead and all that. Look, if I could build a Nganga and put 9 dead flies in that motherfucker and fuck your life up. You heard? Because if I make a treaty with those flies, them shits will be in your house bothering the shit out of you. You might lose your mind. Right? I don't need no Mfumbe because the people don't understand what the concept is. And this is what Briumba talks about. Outside of the Bakula, they figured out that the bone, fuck whose spirit is winning. The bone is a vehicle for spirits. It reminds them of the time that they were here, and it allows them to touch things in this reality. You know, like that movie Ghost, when he be on the train with the ghost and the ghost can move the can and he can't do it, right? That's because he don't have license yet. So now when I get the Mfumbe in there, it's for Santeria to walk with me, like caminando, right? Walk with me. I give Sarabanda a fucking skull so that he can strategize for me.
Caminando,
Caminando. Come walk with me. Right? So that these pieces are there for a particular purpose. So now, when it comes to Nganga, and I'm gonna give them a little bit of a little something. It's muy importante in Fendingombe. Okay? That is because that is what makes the Kalunga so very, very powerful. Is that the Kalunga is the biggest fucking Nganga in the world. Because it got the most Fendingombe. Okay? And so when you understand these properties, so even understanding the scratches, when you're in Gayo, you're not complete because you don't got 7 marks. You got to get that top mark to make it the 7th one. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? And 7, this is what makes 7 the lucky number in Palo. So where I come from is the 7 things that make Sete Cosa La Palo. Very simple things. Because we don't use Impemba. Because in my house they said that shit scares the spirits away, the scratching of it, the sound. Right? So they use Nganga, what they would call Efun. Nganga, Yaya, Mbele, Kimbansa, Mbele Bobo, Matari, and Bobo, and Sete Cosa La Palo. Those are the 7 things.
Yes. Now, that's what we said last time in the interview. Just with a glass of water, you can damage somebody. If you got your stuff straight, all you need is a glass of water and that knowledge.
Exactly. Because, like I said, the Kalunga is the strongest thing, so the Nsumbi is the strongest thing. And here's the easiest. Now, a lot of people don't like to fuck with the Bovida because it don't got all the bells and whistles. But let me tell you something. That is the fucking... there's an old tata from Cienfuegos. He say, Espiritismo is a kindergarten para gangolero. Right? It's where you learn your colors. It's where you learn how to line up. It's where you learn how to, you understand? It's the fundamentals. Because candle magic, if you're doing candle magic, you gotta learn that shit at the Bovida first before you start doing it with the gun. Right? And understanding that the Bovida, it don't require much. It don't require manga, right? It don't require initiation. It requires dedication. So,
but now people are supposedly initiating and crowning your muerto before you go do some things.
No, see, okay, the crowning misa is there to give order to your spiritual court. So that one's particular spirit becomes responsible for your elevation, for managing the other spirits.
But yes,
right?
But you hear stories of people saying, well, yeah, I could do your boda espiritual and then initiate you in your espiritismo, it's going to be this. To set up your boda espiritual.
No. You know, there's nothing to pay for that. Like people call me all the time, can you come do me a house cleaning? Why would I do that? I'll tell you what you need to do and do it yourself.
Exactly.
because the ingredients is what's going to chase it out. It ain't me, right? It's the ingredients and the method that's going to make the spirits go out. And it's very simple. It's about scent.
Mm-hmm.
Spirits are affected by the scent because the scent, the scent is very
Fatu.
eminent. Yeah, right? So I'm not going to charge you to come over there and clean your house with fucking rhododendrons and flowers. You can do that yourself, right? But that's where the hustlers come in. They come in with, it's going to cost you this much and that much. No, once you understand spiritualism, you understand there's certain basic things, sugar and water, necessarily to sweeten up the spirit, starting the spirit on the floor, lifting it to the table, putting up higher, these different things. This is why I wrote a book on spiritualism, right? Because it is the part that is being abandoned. The old timers tell you can't pass no Orisha or no Palo and Nganga if you don't fucking pass no muerto at the table.
Yes, that's what the old timers always have said. I mean,
yeah,
I started in Espiritismo, and I was like, what is this? I want to go to the muerto. My godfather just kept hitting me across the head. It's like, why are you so stubborn? I'm like, but this doesn't go with me, Padre. Bah!
Yeah, the spiritualism. Because, again, the water is the foundation. We were all born in it. You were born in the Kalunga. Okay? You were a fish before you were anything. Right? This is what connects these traditions of Ocha, Palo.
They're asking where they could find the book that you just said.
Now, the book that I'm talking about is I'm in the production of re-editing some things, because when I put it out the first time, I kind of rushed, and the person that edited it didn't do it correctly, so I'm editing it now. It'll be out before Christmas, okay?
Oh, you mean like that Allan Kardec book in English that makes no sense?
Yeah, I had to fix some shit because the lady was moving shit around, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So I had to go back and change some things.
I gotta get one with that with your autograph, man, just in case you become famous.
Oh, no, I got you, Carlos. Don't even worry that part. That's, you know what I mean? That's light. But we trying to necessarily take people back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
See, because spiritualism is really the filters to find out whether or not people are ready for the other parts.
Now, are you talking about Espiritismo, the Allan Kardec? I know the answer, but I have to act like I don't know shit, right? Because then people are you talking Espiritismo for Allan Kardec or Espiritismo of Mesa Blanca?
Mesa Blanca.
Okay.
See, Allan Kardec, you have to read it because it is a understanding of, because what Allan Kardec does provide that most people don't talk about is, you don't just have spirits from the past, you get spirits from the future.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You heard? Because
there's no time. In the future, the past, the present.
Yes, it's all in one. It's all happening at the same time.
There's no time in the spiritual realm
at all. And these are things that can be explained.
Now Yancy wants a book too.
These are things that can be explained. There's no hell because the whole entire earth is in heaven. Remember that.
That's something people do not understand. We are here. We don't see it. What did he say?
The earth is in heaven.
The believe will believe it. You don't see it. It's you are here.
Right.
That's all the message. I mean, that's something that I took from that book.
Listen, because you got to understand. People go, "Oh, God," and you inside God. God is the totality of everything. That's just why they talk about. I keep talking about the La Calunga. You inside of it. The only time you know a difference is when you're outside of it, and it's too late.
Brother, it's called the firmament within the firmament.
Ache.
Right?
Okay.
It gets deeper. People just don't understand. They still gotta walk.
So now time, when you come off the planet, because the planet is spinning, when you come off the planet, time doesn't exist because the sun gonna be right there all the time. It don't move. Right? So there's no contrast for you to have time. So spirits don't have time. And you have to explain that to them. This is why the Bova is so important. It allows the spirits, it gives them understanding that they have to communicate by one of these four conduits. The candle to see, right?
Mm-hmm.
The flowers to smell, that's earth. The water is obviously water, but water has to deal with dreams because you swallow in your sleep, right? and sound with prayer, right? That deals with air. So you're asserting the 4 elements, and you're constructing this construct to the spiritual world so that they understand that they have to come through one of these conduits in order to communicate with us.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
something I always say. See it, feel it, speak it.
Because it's all around you. So now, the
But what is
first
your body
sacrifice,
made of? Your body is made of what?
agua.
So what are you?
So,
What? You understand?
yeah. So now the first sacrifice, this is why spiritualism becomes very important in this construct of dealing with traditional philosophies. The very first sacrifice that you will engage in is space and time. It's the space that you erect this altar in, and the time that it took to erect it, and the time that it takes to maintenance it. Right? These are 2 things that you can give freely, but you do not control them. You don't control time, or you don't control space, but you can give them freely. This is the first sacrifice: is that you give up some of your space where you live at for the gods to live with you. You understand?
Yes.
And so spiritualism is what, like I said, my godchildren, that's what we ride on. Before you get to talking about, so you gotta be not prolific in the music, because you don't have to get possessed. You just got to be able to hear the spirit and be able to regurgitate what they're telling you.
Of course.
That lets me know that you're ready to deal with it, because the spirit, if once you can hear it, now that conversation, you're responsible with that spirit for that conversation. Okay? And now I can hold you accountable. So now we'll start talking about, somebody receiving the Lucero governor door, right? So that they could do their little work with their femur and learn how to use their femurs and shit like that, right?
The beginning, yes.
Yes. We don't get no Nganga first. No, you get the Lucero governor door. That's to light your way. That's to show you who go to Yero Dame La Vida, right?
Yes.
So you need direction in this darkness, in this Indoki. So I'm gonna give you Lucero to begin to help you to see. Now, after you develop with Lucero, and Lucero says, okay, now we might go to a Chichiriku before we get to a Nganga.
Exactly.
Right? So there's other things, but everybody sees everything so grandiose and they want everything at the same time. You feel me? And, my Ngangas and Ngangas, that shit was 20 plus years of just gathering all of this stuff. You
Yeah.
understand? And some of it I didn't want. I was like, no, Padre. He's like, oh, you need to set it right. I was like, no.
Will
And
you
no,
explain for those who don't understand? Obviously, I understand, but I'm saying for those who understand when you say the word chichiriku, right? Could you explain by that what you meant by that? Because they'll be like, what the hell is that? Just make it easier for them.
okay. So sometimes the Nganga needs a representative outside of the world that it's in, or the actual spirit. One of the spirits that you have needs an edifice, right? And the Chichiriku is a dog that is there to defend. Now, back in the days, you get to really motherfucking working with them shits. They talk about that motherfuckers get up and walk and do all kinds of shit. Now, people are not ready for that because that shit freaks them out.
Yeah, like Yancy said, it could be also a lucero and with an empaca.
Yes.
Right?
Now,
And my thing, we do a lucero and then we might do an inquisi.
okay. No,
That
but
inquisi
that
for a
makes
certain
sense.
issue.
Right, because everybody is different. And so there's never a factory line of what you're supposed to get. Right? So I got you, I'm just glad. What my name and signature? Slow down. What you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do with it? It's only you don't even know how to use it yet. Take it easy, right? Because we used to everything being instant. Let me tell you, them old timers, boy, they'll drag you. Woo! They'll drag you. You be with a stick with nothing in it forever before they start loading it up, right? And so you understand that sometimes you certain things that take a moment to acquire. You're not just gonna find it in your local store. You're gonna have to run into this thing, and you'll know when you're supposed to have it because it'll be when you couldn't find it nowhere else before, and somebody's like, "Hey, I got a leopard pelt in my backyard drying out." You're like, what? right? Oh, let me get that. You've been looking for this shit for 15 years. Now it's time for the Nganga to use that and to activate it and put it to use,
Yes.
right?
As you go, you
So
also collect and you build and you put in there parts of your secrets.
certainly.
Yeah.
Now I want people to also understand that metaphysically, what it goes on in Palo in terms of the the raimiento, that is to give your energy, your own energy, a breaker system. So if you understand electricity, you understand that the distance from one arc to another determines how fast the electricity is going to go. So if I put breakers in it, it moves faster.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have this energy that emanates out of your crown. And now I'm going to put a breaker here, boom, and one here, boom, and one here, boom, so that it moves faster to get to the earth, right? And this is where Insasi becomes associated with that because we understand that lightning comes out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Comes out the ground. So we're talking about energy. So
You're talking about the Earth magnetic field, the entoto and all that.
yes,
Yes.
yes. This has a lot to do with where
That's why we
you
don't
were
wear shoes in an Nganga room.
exactly because you got to feel the ground. Arriba Toto, right? I'm on the earth. I can feel her. She comes seeping through my feet. That's why all of the Congo drums are earth drums. The sound of it goes through the ground and into your feet, right? The yuka, boom bop, boom bop, boom bop, boom bop, is hitting the ground and it's going into feet. The bata drum for Ocha is an aerial drum. It hits you it comes from the sky.
The Ori.
Yes, because the drum don't touch the ground. It's sitting on somebody's lap. Those
Mm-hmm.
drums never touch the floor. So they represent the celestial shit, right? Okay. And so there is an understanding that this is a very, very I don't want to say primitive. I want to say an early concept of metaphysics. Probably the most comprehensive concept of metaphysics there is. They understand their relationship between the ley lines, the magnetism of the earth, and everything that comes out of it. Okay? And that's really what we're doing. So when you're talking about people, they go, "Oh, I'm drinking the alkaline water." No, the Congos got that. When they make that Omiro, those certain herbs, that becomes an elixir. That shit energizes and alkalines and activates you on the inside.
Yes.
Okay?
That's what we give that you drink.
Yes, the Kimbansa is very important. It's present in Rayamiento, right? You have to be introduced to the herbs. The pygmy can identify 3,000 herbs by sight and tell you the medicinal and poisonous properties of it,
Of course.
right? Okay,
The
so
Tata is actually one of the few in the practices of the Gangulero who has the knowledge of herbs.
Kimbansa.
This is, we are root workers.
Yes, exactly. Right? This is why Igurufinda, Butan Seke.
Again, you said in Gurufinda, a lot of Tatas say the other one, Osain. I'm like, Osain, it's not a word in Palo, brother.
No, Igurufinda Butan Seke. Igurufinda Butan Seke comes before Osari because it is the spirit of the understanding of the pygmy and the so you ever seen what's that shit, Men in Black?
Yes,
When he opens up the locker and the little people
yes,
go, "Oh,
yes,
hell day," right? Okay, that's what the concept of the Nganga is.
exactly,
They they tell you that in Beetlejuice. Well, in Beetlejuice, in the attic, there's a fucking mock city of the town, and
exactly.
you see Beetlejuice's fucking grave in there. If you say his name 3 times, he come out the fucking out the model, and then he's in the world. This is the concept of the Nganga. So that most people think of God as like this, but what about if God is that small that it could go inside you and affect you?
And Dokia, yeah, brother.
You feel me? So Guru Finda. So this was something I had to learn. And then we keep it 1,000. We make mistakes. I scratched the guy one time. We're doing the Baka, we got some Padre and Kisi. We're going through Padre and Kisi. Nothing is taken. So I'm down there. I'm Guru Fenda. It says yes. Okay. So one day I'm with my godfather. So my godfather sees my godson. He said, mira, ¿qué Kisi que jurado? I said, no, Guru Fenda. He said, no. I said, no. He said, no. I said, well, that's what he said. Yeah. He said, you didn't know. He said, in that case, you're supposed to go to Cobayende, right? He said, but I bet you, he said, there's a reason why you got to that where you got to. And I was like, yeah, well, you know, the dude he's an orphan. He don't know who his family is. He was like, okay, that's why it took like that. He said, but normally you don't give that because Guru Finda is not connected to human beings in that way. It's like a sprite or an elf. It's this little thing that talks to us. Now, I will tell you in real life that I've seen a real fairy before.
Okay.
Okay? That shit is real. There's some shit that happens in nighttime inside the forest that shit you just not ready for. Feel me? I seen some shit that looked like a fucking hummingbird and it had a person on the other side of it. And the way it was moving is in a way that I cannot explain to you. The shit was moving in a way like it was on like a digital camera or something. The way it was moving. That shit was fucking with my eyes. Right? And that's more of what they talk about what goes on with Guru Finger. It's like some type of sprite. Something that we can't really explain. Okay? Because Guru Finger talks about being in the interior of things. So when we talk about like la gusanos, omegas and shit like that, you know, that shit is real big in Congo. Like motherfuckers be looking for Fumbe, but really be like them little insects, like them ants and shit like that, that really make the Nganga go do what it do. So I know when Sarabanda's getting busy in my house because I got ants in my crib. For no reason. They just be like, I'll be like, oh, there you go.
You got fire ants?
Yeah, leave him alone. He doing something.
Now, in your opinion, are females allowed to work with Guru Finda?
I've heard different. I've heard that they shouldn't. Now, in my house, we give two different type of Guru Finda. Right? We give two different type of Guru Finda. One has a specific type of female in it, and another one doesn't. Okay, you heard me?
Hold on, you broke up when you said one has a type of female in it.
One has a female in it, and one has a different type of female in it for female that we give, right? And the one that we give to women, she cannot do a rompimiento with.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Because Guru Finda Butanseke eats fucking Infuiri. Right? So you got this fucking stupid ass spirit that you done picked up from someplace and of no consequence of your own, but this shit is fucking with you and we gotta do a rompimiento for you. Guru Finda is the one that eats that. Right? But the one that we give to women, no, they can't do that, cannot perform that with that.
Okay.
You understand?
But like I said, women, you know, I think about it because then how are they supposed to work with herbs?
Well, no, they can still work with herbs. Con licencia, like I said, in our house we give them something. It's a guido, right? But it's not the complete Guru Finda. No tiene fumbe, no. There's certain things that are not put inside of it because. So this is what happens with the whole sexuality conversation comes in.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep opening up a hole, things will crawl into it.
Yes.
And this is what makes it hard for women because in the forest, in the Ndoki, things seek refuges in holes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to get them out. You ever try to fight a badger to try to get him to come out of a hole? He's not coming out because that's his defense. So once it's in the hole, it's hard to get that shit out. Right?
Yes.
And so there's ceremonies that they stopped doing in my house where they would do something like somebody had to go get a surgery or something, and they have something where they would do something where they would switch the person and send the person's soul into the Nganga and have an Egun or an Nfumbe be in the body, and then the person go through the surgery and then they come out. The problem was one time the old man did some shit and a female spirit came out and it jumped on the dude.
Oh Lord.
And over time he became feminine, so that he eventually became a trans person, right? And the old man, it was something like, you know, there's certain things that when you're doing certain things, if one thing happened, it could just throw the whole thing off.
So you were doing a
Right?
temporary cambio de vida.
Yes. And something happened when somebody broke the line, right? Because at the top, we talk about at the top of the Nganga is always a female.
What
Okay?
was that again?
At the top of the Nganga, there's always a female. The
Oh, yes.
Messiah is a woman, is a female spirit, Ndumba,
Yes.
right? So that when you start talking about when the Nganga received Akaweta, right?
Sorry. Mm-hmm.
So Akaweta is for the Ndumba at the top of the Nganga to talk to Akaweta, and Akaweta talks to Guru Finda. Okay? That's when the Nganga is, when you see them old timers and they have the Nganga right under the Guru Finda.
Under the gourd.
Right, and it's on the tree. That's the whole thing where so that because it's stages. And so sometimes they gotta go. It's almost proverbial, like they gotta go down to the bottom and knock on the door to wake the Nkisi up, right?
Yeah. Now let me ask you something, because somebody, I think it's going there where I'm going. They asked the question, what happened to him? Did you guys to do like a ceremony to do a cambio de vida on that person who got the spirit, the female? Did you guys remove him from the enso?
This is before me. This is before my time.
Oh, okay.
It was before my time. This is a conversation that my godfather gave, and there were certain things that Orestes went to the grave with because he felt some type of way what happened to the dude.
Yeah.
You feel
Now,
me?
in your tradition, are people of, well, homosexuals, let's say, right? Are they kwenda? I mean, are they welcome in your enso?
Nah. Now understand.
It's not. It's just a conversation to
No,
help
no,
them
no.
out
Understand.
understand something. It's not that we
Because
are
I have a
racist.
godson. I have a godson who's gay, but he was scratched when he was 9.
Mm.
And in the consulta, it warned about this type of thing, you know what I'm saying, possibly happening. And some other people dropped the ball, right? So he was real enough to keep it 1,000 and be like, yo, this is what I'm doing when he became a young man, And
That happens a lot.
So what happens is with people like that, he's already la menga es mi prenda, es la matara que toca la menga, what you gonna do?
Yes.
Right? He got a Congo. So those Gangas, if they have ever given anything to take care of themselves, those Gangas are not born in Baro or in Yero. They're built in fucking Hikara.
Yeah. Brother Oba, let me get back to that. Do you see the questions being asked?
No.
Let me go let my dog out. I'll be right back. If you can answer some of the questions,
Okay.
if you don't mind, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what the questions are. What's going on? Yeah, so the dude, this is not a situation that I was actually privy to witness myself. So I'm just giving context, but I can't give you details about what was done. It's just something that the old timers said that they would never do again because of the results that they got. And so those that I know that have been whited out are people that were scratched before their sexuality was ever defined.
So, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish it.
No, I'm just saying that, you know, in terms of coming in, because there's a lot. So I don't get into the politics. I just do what my tradition said.
Yes, well,
You feel me?
your tradition, what the rules of your and so and stuff like that, or the oath of their elders did. Uh, I've heard that. I heard I gotta get the information. I don't remember exactly where I read it, but that sometimes when they are homosexuals, what you can do is give them an inkisi, um, and initiate them through the practice of malongo. But I don't know if that's real. But I know some give a lot of inquisis out there to them so they can protect them.
Now, I'm gonna tell you some shit. This is conversation from talking to the old tatas.
Hmm.
So let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, yeah.
They used to be with the bullshit. So them niggas will go and build a fucking hudia. And they'll bury that shit. And every time somebody came where they had this shit with this spiritual problem and the person's supposed to get hooed out, they take them motherfucker out into the monte and they be hooed out on them over a hudia. And they wouldn't get them no name and no signature. Right? They gave them
So
some.
yeah, go
That's what
ahead.
they used to do.
Yeah.
I've been confirmed with the old tatas that told me that they used to do that.
Yes, I've
Okay?
heard that too. Um, and I even read somewhere that sometimes some of them were so bad that they marked them with some marks too. So they when they were in
So
the
you
Nganga
saw,
group.
so you knew who they were,
Yes.
right? So there was some
Um,
kind of thing that they gave them where they would say it. It was like a common name that they all kind of had that
yes.
let you know that that's what the situation was, right?
Yes. Exactly. Um, now, what about those santeros that are homosexuals and they need to get scratched into Palo? Because I know a lot of tatas that, well, they need to go to Santos, so let's scratch them. So they always go against what the rules are.
I don't do that. Um, I don't even do that for people that are straight anymore. Like, that last minute shit. You know what I'm saying? They bringing somebody. I used to do that when I was a young tata. I don't do it anymore. Um, you gonna get this work at the Misa table first before you get coming to my fucking Munanso. You feel me?
Hmm.
And the Ganga's funny. He'll spit people out. You they come down with somebody and Belly Bobo spit out fucking Makuto, like, oh, who this? He's like, I don't want him no more. Right? I'm dead serious. Like, what the fuck is this? He was like, don't put it back in me. I'm like, all right. Right? And I'll take it to a cemetery and go drop it off somewhere you don't want it no more. Right? But I stick to my tradition. That's the way what it was given to me. So I don't do it. Now, like I said, I have a godson he's a gay man. But he got scratched when he was 9, right? And to make it even more profound, his Rayamento was in my Ita or Ocha. I was a Yawo when I scratched him.
Oh,
In my Ita for Ocha, I was like, yo, when you get back, you gonna go do some Palo. And she told my godmother, don't feel no way, because he's a Ganguleto first. So don't start no shit. And somebody's gonna call him to scratch him. Now, the boy that I scratched, his father is one of my elders. His father's one of my Anya elders. So when he came to me, he was like, yo, my boy they about to make Ocha to my boy real quick, and I need them to get scratched real quick. And I was like, all right. And so I did it. So it was ordained. It was prophesized, right?
hmm.
So like I said, the fact that he was even a man enough to come and tell me, like, yo, Padrino, I got to talk to you. And I was like, what's up? He was like, yo, man, I'm about to go to the other side. And so we had a conversation, and I told him all of the pros and the cons of his lifestyle, but that he's still my godson, and I can't not love him because he decided to choose another lifestyle.
Of
You
course.
understand?
I mean,
And
he's a
so,
human being at the end of the day, and you have
absolutely.
respect for a human being. It's just there's some rules. But
But the fact that he was man enough to not be on the down low and just try to keep up a facade.
exactly,
You
exactly.
feel me?
Because a lot
And
of people, that happens, when, we as ganguleros tell a mother, well, your son is in trouble. He needs rayamiento. Because
right,
it's the only thing that will save him or the only thing that will heal him. And yes, the Nganga is going to say something, but then you'll be like, oh, I got to save this kid's life.
right, right. Well, see, I don't particularly believe in Hubalao. I don't do that shit.
Jubilado.
Yeah, I don't do that shit.
Jubilación, yes.
Nah.
When
Go
this
ask
guy,
your guardian.
let's explain what that is, because people are going to be, what the hell is jubilación?
Jubilación is something that they invented in the New World in the United States because there was people who had gotten made ultra and they had ego issues that they didn't resolve, and so they went back to go back to Palo. Now the rule in ultra was that once you make ultra, you can't be cut. Now you got to be realistic in that. You tell me I make ultra, huh?
Two different lands.
But not even that. You tell me I make ultra and I can't get cut. That means anytime I cut myself, there's a problem. Right? I don't believe in that shit. So now my thing is, because we don't cut you in your fucking head.
Of course. So right. I do the same thing. I tell him who told you that, and I respect everybody else's decision, right? My step is I don't put the Nganga on top of their head. I let them hold it on the shoulder.
Right. So now, I'm not going to touch your third eye because you got ultra up in there, right? Now, I'm going to put the shit in your body, but the first thing you're going to do is go have a conversation with your guardian angel. You're going to bring your guardian angel down and have a conversation. Yes. And you're going to throw shells and you're going to shake and separate and ask your guardian angel if this is what you should be doing.
Of course.
Right?
Well, in my case, I tell him, go speak to your godfather, go speak to Orioriote, and stuff like that. If they're fine, see what your guardian angel says.
See, because the jubilación was invented here because they never had that problem in Cuba because you went through a lengthy thing before you made some ultra. So they wouldn't miss that. You feel me? So whatever situation, okay, well, he's gay, well, they'll find some other way to appease that spirit. Because the other thing is, just because you have a Congo doesn't mean that you have to be Hurao and Nganga.
Of course, you can do Santo without even going through them.
Right, and you can have a Congo on the Bovida and deal with that Congo, and that Congo work just fine. Okay, and so, like I said, everybody's situation is catered to them, right? And so, there's rules, but the Nganga got the last fucking say in everything.
Of course, and who made those rules?
Humans.
Man-made.
Yeah, man-made. The Nganga don't do right. So now we have to understand that the homosexuality thing came out of politics that happened in Cuba during the times of them cutting cane and them the men being molested and abused, right, by the overseers. This even affected them in the ultra. That there was a time when the men wasn't making the ultra because there was a long time ago. Some niggas will argue this, but I've heard this from old time. There was a long time ago that when the men made ultra to Oshun or Yemonja, they had to put on some type of skirt, right? And the women changed it because the men would be like, if I gotta go make ultra and make a female Orisha, I'm not doing it. Fuck that shit. Yo soy un hombre, right? Yes. So the women changed it so that they would put pants on a man who's making Yemaya or Oshun.
And we see it in Cuba done still with them with the dress. So.
Absolutely, because even today you see the difference when a woman makes a male Orisha, they put pants on. Okay, so they had to bend it because of the politics, right? The men and they don't want to make no ultra. They needed men to participate in the ritual.
Now, do you know anything about the African, like the Nigerian way? Do they do things like that?
Well, in the Nigeria, when a man make Oshun, then he put on a dress. The Oba of Oshun, of Oshogbo, they braid his hair up like a woman, and he puts on a dress. He's a woman for the day, right? Because you proverbially are representing the Orisha in that stance, okay? So that a lot of the concept of, like they said, Madre and Kisi and Padre and Kisi, like Eric was saying, that should come from the idea of them looking at the ultra and seeing the construct of it, right? Now, because Padre and Madre, that's not their thing, right? Because you just dedicated to a certain medicine, right, that you had access to, right? So when they create this construct of Palo mayombe, like I said, this is when the Garabato and the Mbele come together to create Palo mayombe. This is why you can only get scratched over Sarabando or Segeray.
So here's the question I always ask Tatas, because there's a controversy, you know, that you probably know that was coming. So for you, is Palo mayombe real or fake? Does Palo mayombe exist? Because there's a lot of people that says mayombe is not real.
Well, here's the problem. what was told to me was that mayombe phased out because the old timers were living rustic and nobody was living like that anymore. And so Briumba became the rule because they had to have a way to incorporate the Nganga to bring it inside the house, especially in urban areas. Okay? Now, everybody is mayombe because mayombe, essentially, they talk about, they came with a philosophy about building this, the concept of what we're doing in terms of Palo. So everything's Palo mayombe, right? Now, from that, so we get so now let's talk about this, the roots, the trunks, and the branches. The roots go into Lumba, Luenga, Yambe, Congo, Luanga, Masundi. Those are the roots.
Yes.
Of those roots, certain trunks were born. Vititi Congo, Sacampeña. Another, like I said, the other one, it always eludes me. Now, from those trunks are born the branches, right? So now Kimbisa he was a Briumbeto because he used Infumbe in the Nganga.
You talking about this Petit?
Yes, right? When they start to use Infumbe in Nganga, we're not talking about mayombe anymore because mayombe is based on Matari.
Okay.
It's based on Matari and Makuto, right? And so, or the Hukonene, the Makuto made out of the fucking corn sack, right? Okay, so that is mayombe. There ain't no Infumbe in there except for because that shit is born from the Bakula, from the Ngando Bataya. So a piece of that is put inside that shit. That's why they're able to have this Nganga. But there ain't no Infumbe in that shit. That shit is in Kisi.
So Ngando Bataya belongs to mayombe?
Yes.
It's not
that's
a
mayombe thing.
Okay.
That's not a Briumba thing. That's a mayombe thing.
So that's something that Eric said to just confirm that Eric was speaking about that.
Because
after that, somebody went and said that after the interview, there's people that always like this. There's going to be people that are going to criticize this interview because they're not happy because, but I don't really give a flying fuck about it.
Listen, I can only tell you what was told to me.
Yes.
Right? My godfather was a respectable Gangulero. He's Panamanian and he went through his own prejudices because he was Panamanian. It's a little Cubano, don't sabe nada, all that kind of shit.
We go through that all the time. Puerto Rican daughters get messed up all the time because he's not Cuban.
Now,
I'm not Cuban. I'm Salvadorian.
But let's talk about the Cubans. Because a lot of the Palo that came in the 80s with them fucking Marielitos, a lot of them niggas wasn't Ganguleros. They was just in jail with Ganguleros. And so
we're not here trying to talk bad about the Cubans. Don't misunderstand.
No, but this is history.
Yes.
This is history. This happened even with the Ultra. There was people who had said that they had Ultra, and then when folks started checking out, and other folks was like, he ain't got no Ultra.
They had to survive.
Right. So things had to be rectified at a certain point. Right? Now, like I said, I come from a house that has been here for a very long time due to the circumstances that arrested. Like I said, he was a white Cuban, and he recognized that he had certain privileges and he was able to move around a certain way. Okay? Now, like I said, I don't get into the history of who's real or who's not. What works?
Yes. There's a lot of people out there that they feel like they have to claim that they're Cuban, even though they're not. They're fucking Italians, but they want to say that they're Cubans because it's like, oh, I get more respected. Or they're Chinese and they want to say they're Cuban because they think that they're going to get more respected. Because yes, a lot of the tradition here is Afro-Cuban, right? But in reality, Palo, it says everywhere it should be Afro-Caribbean.
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, there's different forms of Palo in different places that just weren't codified. See, we have to understand that certain things were codified within Palo Mayombe, that they created certain rules that they would be able to recognize it, right? But you got Obia in Jamaica, right? You got other traditions in Trinidad and all of the islands, Martinique. There's something going on. There's Palo in the Philippines, okay? Right?
Well, that's the form of opium, right?
Yes. So we're not going to see. So it's not a Cuban thing. See, what makes Cuba so very interesting is that somehow or another, the Africans had enough influence to name the island Cuba. Because it's named after a kingdom in the Congo, Cuba and Luba.
Unique, the god. Brahma con Brahma is the other house that you forgot. Probably forgot.
Yeah, see,
Brahma
that's
con Brahma is
one of
started
my
in
god brothers. That's one of my god brothers. You feel me? So he you know what I'm saying? He was with my godfather, so he might have heard that it was Brahma con Brahma. You
well,
feel me?
Brahma con Brahma.
Okay.
From Reniero Perez.
Okay, so now Brahma con Brahma, when it comes out of mayombe, when it starts to be used in Fumbe. Now because Infumbe is the use of Infumbe and the way it is used, that is the stilo of Briumba.
Yes, it's understandable.
Okay? Right. So this is why when we say everybody's mayombe, but ain't nobody mayombe pure. Because in certain houses, certain people use crosses. And that's not acceptable in mayombe.
Yeah, we don't use crosses.
Okay. Yeah. So now in Briumba, Congo, it is based on the building of the Nganga and the stages of the Nganga in terms of how they split Ndoki and the Mfumbi, the different levels of that when they build the Nganga. Okay? So that, like I said, there's a reason why Sarabanda has a chain around and a lock around his neck. Okay? And that is a mechanism of safety. He got a head. If he get too smart, he start to thinking, you can lock his ass up in there. Okay? Because that shit has happened. That shit has happened where they've had to go and confiscate Ngangas from dudes because the motherfucker got possessed and was trying to stab his wife to death with the butcher knife and shit like that. Okay? That's real shit. So they had to make certain fail-safes and mechanisms in order to protect themselves because the shit is in your house.
Some people shooting a cannonball to it.
Yeah. You understand? So Briumba is a style that was based off of philosophy. Because remember, Andres Petit and all of them niggas were Franciscans. They was hanging out with the Franciscan friars, learning about necromancy and shit like that. Okay? And so they infused this philosophy into because they had to respect the Catholics, because the Catholics was in fucking control. Like, that's the other part. Africans respect what the fuck come through with some control about it. Like, oh shit, that shit work. All right, let me get that. Right? Right now, there's a shrine in Ibadan for Yemaya, where it's called Egun Leke, where the statue, the effigy for Yemonja is in there, housed in there. Right next to Yemonja right now is the lucky cat. The Chinese lucky cat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Chinese lucky cat is sitting right next to Ogun Leke Yemonja. So when I asked the ballet of Ibadan, I said, yo, what's up with the lucky cat? He said the Chinese use it. So we're going to put it next to Yemonja so she know what kind of magic they got. Right?
Wow.
That is the African way. So spiritualism wasn't born by Allan Kardec. If you look at the earliest pictures or paintings of the Congo, when they go into some of them huts, you'll see the Nganga and there'll be a glass of water and a cross up there. Because they understood that they was doing mass in the 1400s.
But there is a Congo concept of Espiritismo, the Congo way.
Yes.
Without bringing the Christianity in there.
Yes. Now, somebody said, what about the Indian influence? Now, the Indian influence comes from the idea that they have a mambo. They say, Yambeke, Mayora, Yambeke. They are asserting that the Native American is their mayor on this land. And he's the one who taught them about the trees and the herbs on this land.
Man, you really learned your Spanish, didn't you?
Nah, I'm telling you, like I had to because there was no other way.
Pushed you, didn't it? That pushed you to learn that.
You feel me? So now when they talk about this Yambeke, they talking about this Native American. He's the one who taught them what seasons, because remember, they don't have the same seasons in Africa.
Yes.
It gets cold in the fucking continent.
Not the same plants.
Yeah, not the same plants. So now they had to learn from the Native American. Right?
They learned from the Native American, the Taínos.
Right. So you hear that this got little mambos. San Nicola, Hugo Nene, Dipota Buena de Sabana, San Nicola, Hugo Nene, De Porta Buena de Montaña. They're talking about when Sarabanda left, right? And he went into the woods and he was up there growing corn.
Mm-hmm.
This is where he started using the corn and husk as the beginning of the Makuto, right? Okay. Now, the Chinese also inserted some of their magic into Palo Mayombe and into Ocha. See, because this is a Creole tradition. It's not
Yes.
African anymore. It's
Wait a
Creole.
minute. Repeat that. Please repeat that again.
It's a Creole tradition. It's not African anymore. It is Creole, right?
Exactly. Endoki, yeah.
Congo Congo de Guinea soy. Buena
I
noche,
know.
Criollo.
Yeah.
He said Criollo. He didn't say nothing about the Africans because the Criollos are a culmination. Your mother might be Congo. Your father might be fucking Lukumi, or he might be Karabali, right?
Makuto Bilongo, yes.
Right. Then you might got an uncle or somebody who's Chinese because he's married into your family and he's over here getting possessed with shit too, right? And so they got some Chinese magic in it. They got some Native American magic. It is a culmination. It is a stir. It's a gumbo, okay? Because we live on a different leyland.
Gumbo.
This
That's the new
leyland is
one.
different than any place else. It's right now. It's dark where I'm at. In Africa, the sun is up. That's a different world, right? Different circumstances. So now
We go back to the comisiones.
absolutely.
Yes.
Los Chinos. The Los Chinos helped them perfect the gunpowder for the fula. Because the motherfucking Congos was just using sulfur or some shit like that. Right? They didn't have the mix yet. The Chinese was the ones that now put the saltpeter in it. So now you got the saltpeter, you got the carbon, you got the fucking sulfur. Boom, now you got fula. Right? Everybody contributed to what it became. So that you could go to somebody's house and then they have an Nganga Sarabanda and the Sarabanda have a fucking samurai sword next to it. Like, what kind of shit is that? Because there might be a spirit that lives in that Sarabanda that's fucking Japanese. It might
Well,
be a
in
fucking...
Cuba, the first enfumbes, muertos they used were Chinos. You hear
Okay.
me?
Okay. So now, my godfather, being Panamanian, has always said that the old timer said the worst witchcraft you ever want to encounter is the Chinese.
Wow.
Because the Chinese have a mentality of a singular cell organism mentality. If they're like ants, if you don't count or match up, they'll get rid of you. Right? Because they think for the greater good of themselves. Right? They're like ants. You ever seen the ants when the ants are in the flood and all the ants are on top of each other and then they recycle and some get on top and some get on the bottom? That's the reciprocation of the insect. And this is who the Congo is originally observing. He's observing in nature what is around him. Right? So now, when he comes to the New World, so now what makes the fucking Cuba so very special about Congo is the crocodile, the Ngobataya. The shit only exists in Africa and in Cuba. They're like, how the fuck did this happen? Because how did it get across the salt water? It's a freshwater fucking reptile, right? So the fact that they had the access, this let them know that the ancestors came with them. So now, this crocodile, this crocodile, right? They have a relationship with it. And so it is this is like I said, this is where they go from the old to the new. So that we become a Creole tradition, right? So that let's look at the implications of when they put it in the cauldron. When they put it in the cauldron, it took them back to the original Nkisi that they said came out of the sky and landed and was set in a gourd on top of 3 stones. So when they saw the 3 legs of the cauldron, of the caldero, it just made sense to them, right? As well as the idea that it's in a cauldron, which represents sustenance and food.
You're talking about Ndoki, Yandoki, and Doki?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? Because the first Nkisi they say came out of the sky and came into, and a woman caught it, and she put it in a hikara, and sat it on top of 3 stones. So when they saw the caldero, the 3 legs, it reminded them of that. So there is a secret language that is happening inside, not just Congo tradition, all of the traditions that come, not even just from Africa, that come out of the Native American traditions and the Chinese traditions. There is the motifs are having a conversation with your mind. It's sigillism, right? Which is the first alphabet of the world. Again, we're talking about people writing on walls. The Congos was writing on the ground first.
Yes. Yeah.
They was
I
writing
heard a
on the
story
ground
about that the Congo switched like the practice of the ancestor and dedicated more to the practice of the Enfumbe, where Briyumba was born.
Yes, yes, because there was a loss of connection with the ancestor, with the ancestral connection,
They
and
concentrated
so
more in the Enfumbe than the actual practice of ancestry.
yes, and so the Munansos kind of break it down to that, right? So that whatever Munaso you come from has its own regla.
Yes, HNSO has their own rules, their own regla. HNSO does things different.
Right,
There's no, I have to do it exactly like the other.
right.
And it's even with Christianity, you have the Catholic Church, you have the Baptists, you have the Seventh-day Adventists. They all do things different, but at the end of the day, it's the same.
It's about God,
Yes,
right? So we respect each lodge,
yes. Which
right?
is a representative of a tribe.
Well, yeah, exactly. And so this is, like I said, back to the La Commissions. This wisdom, we all have access to the different wisdom from different regions,
And
right?
that's something that I'm glad you said, because there's a lot of communities out there that are just beginning to be there's a lot of hatred, you know?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of bitterness that people see. What happens is we haven't gotten over. So now this is particularly important for African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the Caribbean, every Caribbean island has carnival. That carnival is a direct jubilee to the ancestors. They are dancing in jubilee, stomping on their ancestors to alert them that they are free, that their ancestors, all of the pain that they went through was not in vain.
In Dokia,
In the continental United States, the slaves were not alerted that they were free. There were still people picking cotton and tobacco 40 years after the Emancipation Proclamation because didn't nobody tell them. There wasn't no TV or no radio for them to know that this shit was that it was over with, right? So because that African Americans don't have a day that marks of jubilee where we celebrate and hit the ground to vibrate to our ancestors that all of their painstaking trials and tribulations have equaled up to us having some sort of liberty. Okay? And so this affects the African Americans. Now, this is a part of the history, so that what happens is when the Cubans first come and they start making ultra to people and they start having these misas, black people getting possessed with these egos and they're fucking pissed. They're tearing up the joint. Ah! Ah! Cubans like, what the fuck is that? Man, put a cap on that shit. We're gonna make some ultra and call it a day. Don't call that nigga to the misa again. They don't want no food, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't understand, because they culturally cannot understand how handicapped African Americans were out of their culture, what was taken from them. So they don't understand that. So when these spirits are coming and they're wild and crazy, they don't want to deal with it because they don't have a formula for it. They ain't never seen no shit like this. Oh
yeah,
God.
but it's also the spirit saying, now you're practicing what you were supposed to practice, not that
Right.
Christian stuff.
But
Now
see,
the spirit is
remember,
happy and it's like going, yes, now you're free. Now you're free to go back to your
but
practice.
remember, so now we're going to talk about culture, and class. The first Cubans that really came over here and brought this shit were white Cubans, who a lot of them were kind of ostracized out of the moon ourselves anyway, right? So now, when they come, and these African Americans got these spirits and all that, they don't want to fucking deal with that shit. So hurry them off into some motion. And so what happens is African Americans, they became generations where they weren't trying to cultivate them spiritually. They were just edifying them or placating them culturally with the religion. Here, take it. Mm-hmm. Without giving a why, a what, or why. Now, African Americans have to also take a certain part of that blame because the institutional racism blinds people so that they're like, oh, I don't want to fuck with that Spanish shit. Okay. But the people in Cuba, most of them are black. What are you talking about? Right? Oh, I want to deal with that Spanish shit. But they don't say that when you go into looking for Vodun traditions, because Vodun, a lot of that shit is French. Real talk. That shit is French. So you choosing which colonizer is the best? I don't understand. So this is how people started going back to Africa, and then this is how you got the Isese practices, right? Who they don't have any concept of ancestral worship outside of their own traditions. So they're like, well, of course your shit should be right? So we're just gonna make some mocha to you. They ain't gonna check into no Egun shit. Why would we do that? Because they inherently know who they are. I'm Babatunde the Third, and before me was Babatunde and Babatunde, right? They know who they are. We don't have that luxury because when you cut me, I don't bleed African. I bleed Native American. I might bleed some Mundele. I might bleed some fucking Chino. I might bleed some African shit that ain't from Yoruba land. You understand?
Yes, exactly.
So what happens is the Espiritismo gave the Criollos a ways to approach God from a legitimate standpoint from society. And I say that because even as a young man, when I was growing up, my friends don't know what I do. So I'm in the 3rd grade and my homeboy's like, yeah, I went to church on Easter. And I'm like, yeah, me too. But I didn't go to church. So at some point, in the greater scheme of things, I have to attach myself to a particular philosophy, right? To hide myself under, whether it be the Muslim shit or Christian shit, you understand? So the slaves had to have the same thing. So I'm gonna go fuck with this Spiritismo shit because it allows me to articulate my African spirituality through the lens of a Catholic fucking a scope, right? Of angels and saints and things of that nature, because it allows me to articulate that in that manner. So, you know, a lot of people, everybody want to be pure something. Like I said, the Mani Congo was a Christian in the 1400s.
They were influenced, yes. Their
Your
own
Congo
king,
knowing Jesus Christ.
There's a story. There's a story about their own king. I think his name was Alfonso, right?
Yeah, Alfonso.
He converted to Christianity, and he actually was the first one to enslave his people.
Yes.
Those people did not agree. He enslaved them, and then he traded them to the Portuguese. So instead of him locking them up, they say, I'll give them to you as your slaves. So in reality, the first enslaver of the Mani Congo was the king.
Yes,
Alfonso.
the king Nzinga, Mani Congo. His name was Nzinga. He changed it to Alfonso, which was the name of the fucking of the Portugal king.
And then here comes the Moros, capturing slaves and stuff, right? But yes, the first one who actually began slavery in the Mani Congo was their king. He said, "Oh, you don't agree with me? You becoming a slave? I'm shipping you out too." So it happens everywhere.
This was created the tension between the Dahomians and the Yorubas.
Yes, it happens everywhere. In my tradition, the Mayans, we were betrayed by our own people. Our own people helped Hernan Cortez get to Montezuma, get to destroy our own people, because it's about politics. It's like, I don't like the ruler. Let me help the enemy of my enemy as my friend.
And this is human politics. This ain't got nothing to do with culture or religion. Bad people are bred all over the world. Okay? They come in white, they come in Chinese, they come in Native American, they come in African. Bad people are bad people.
Yeah.
And so we are separated based on this idea of culture.
Yeah, it's like me. I can turn around and say, well, fuck the Spaniards, because the Spaniards enslaved my people. Right? I'm talking about the Aztec and the Mayans. I hate the
Mm-hmm.
Spaniards, but guess what? There were a lot of Spaniards fighting for our rights too. Just like in America, and during the Civil War, there were a lot of white people died defending the African American.
But see, this is why I'm telling you that spiritualism, this is the one part that connects Palo Mayombe, Orisha, Ifa, that is being abandoned. And it is the reason why it's important, because spiritualism allows all creeds to come and sit at the table. The only thing that is not wanted at the table of Mesa Blanca is hate, misery, and things of that nature, right? Okay. So now, your wisdom from the Quran is applicable here. Your wisdom from the Torah is applicable here. Your wisdom from the Bible is applicable. Your wisdom from the tree trunks of the Ndoki forest are applicable. From the cornfields in Mesoamerica, wherever there is, this information is applicable because it is about us making ourselves better.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. It's about coming as one.
Right. Don't
Becoming
tell me who you did witchcraft to. Tell me who you saved.
exactly.
I
This
don't
is
want to know how many bodies your Nganga got. I want to know how many people was in a terminally ill, right? I don't care about you getting some gangsters out of jail. Who was terminally ill? Who was on the last thread of their life and you did a fucking una ansara or a fucking obra for them and they gave them a fucking sense of direction that this person is being at their best selves now. If we ain't talking that, I don't want to hear about it because that shit is mundane and that shit is what they talk about the elders. This is what they feared. This is why it was so secret. Don't give this magic to people for them to abuse it. Right? It's important that we stick to our traditions. When somebody gets possessed and they're faking, they are putting all of our lives at risk because we depend on this advice. And we
yes,
make decisions based on this advice.
yes,
So we don't need you making just fucking acting a fool because you feel like it today. We need you to know that you're really being rolled by spirit and that this message that's coming through is evident in how it plays out.
yes.
Right? And
You can't
so,
you can't call yourself spiritual and decide to walk this path and have hatred inside of you. Have what you're doing is feeding that ego. You're putting the ego before your spirituality.
now peep this. I'm in Alabama. They're like, why is he in Alabama? Because I want the possibility of me being able to scratch a hillbilly and change the fucking karma of his family line so
And
that now
Doki
he is
Yaya, brother,
working.
and Doki Yaya. That's
And
what
so
it's
that
about.
now when somebody gets pulled over and he see them yellow and green beads or he sees a coolie of Nganga and he say, you know what? Take it easy. Have a nice day. This is what Andres Petit did. This is why we're even having this conversation. If he didn't do what he did, fuck what them Africans was talking about, the religion would be dead. Right? And so I'm down here because, yes, I wanted to be with some hillbillies. I want them to have access to those white eagles so that they can make those white eagles have to not pay, but correct what they did in their fucking fallacies of what they thought was morally correct to the people. You understand?
And that's a
And not
better way
only
to go.
yeah, because you know what? See, this is the thing. We do ancestral worship so that we can change the past. Haha. Change the past. Because the past, present, and the future are all happening right now. As I light a candle for my ancestors back on that slave plantation, they find a way to get away. Right? Now, when I initiate some white person, and now those Eguns now have to come and drink from the same fountain, my Eguns will have a conversation with them to say, don't let that happen. You understand? Because the
Yes.
future affects the past. We change the past by what we do here in the present. Okay? So
People don't
it
know
is
that.
no, because nobody wants
Because
to
it's
study
your
metaphysics.
candles, it's your prayers, because the spirituality has no time. So you yourself, by those candles, just saved your ancestors, and we
Wow.
are the outcome of what happened in the past.
Yes.
There's no time. People still don't.
This is why I said Kardashianism is important to understand the concept of time. That somebody from the future could come back and be like, yo, don't do that shit. That shit gonna fuck shit up. All right, cool. I ain't gonna do that. I'm not gonna let that happen. So I'm gonna send back warriors so that when the day that one of my ancestors is about to get whipped, that hopefully a spirit could talk to that white boy and be like, yo, don't beat that man. He's a human being.
And that's
Let
why
that
there's
ride.
stories on unexplainable things, like a revolver not going through, a gun not being shot. You
Listen,
understand?
my goddaughter, I
This
got
is
a goddaughter
deep.
just now.
This
I
is
just
so
scratched a
deep.
girl. I just scratched a girl, Carlos. She got into the shit when she went to go help a homegirl move out of her apartment with some stalker. The dude pulled a gun on her and fired 4 shots at her and missed my goddaughter. Because she got scratched 2 weeks before that. Pachete Kumba and Nganga, salam alaikum.
Maleko Sara.
I ain't got shit to do with that. Feel me?
Maleko Bakwenda and Sara, brother.
You understand? And so I believe in God. Yeah, mi Nganga. Bueno, okay. Malo, que bueno, but I believe in God. So I don't do, you can't come to me with some money and be like, oh, I want you to fuck this person up. Mm-mm. You have some consulta primero. Yo tirar en Congo. Now aprende to tell me who you are
Let's
and tell me what the
justify
problem
this.
is. You heard?
Yeah.
And now he tell me that somebody's doing some shit unjust to you. Now we can proceed. I had to curse a girl out last night. She's like, oh, they did this to me, they did that to me. And the old dude, this is in Caracol. The old dude like, yo, you did this shit. You got a bad attitude. You don't even let people warm up to you. So of course you got enemies and people hate your guts because you come in with a fucking certain kind of disposition that makes people be like, yo, who the fuck are you? When she finished, she was like, yo, nobody would tell me. Because a couple people didn't send it to me. They sent it to me. Oh, take this girl. You got this bad spirit. So now, as opposed to me being like, oh, it's going to cost you this much of dollars to do a rompimiento. Now, come and get a reading first. Just so happens that right now, the Nganga, he ain't been talking. He been on some other shit. So I'll be like, you ain't be like, you know, but I'm bonda. All right, go. I ain't fucking with you.
Yeah, that's the
So,
first step. Always get a freaking reading instead of just
yeah.
going straight.
You
A
don't
lot
go to
of, a
the
lot
doctor
of,
and be like, Doc, I need you to give me some medicine because my head is hurt.
yeah.
You know, you're like, wait a minute. Well, let's see what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? Because you think you know what the problem is, but that shit could be something else. Right? Because most people come to the consultation, listen to me, everybody is Neo in the fucking Matrix. Everybody. Everybody think that they are the one that came to save the world. All right, that's cool. Now, when you get in front of me and we start to throw these shells, my job is to necessarily bring you to a point of enlightenment. Are you contributing to your situation? But even if you're not doing anything, you could be being nice and the Nganga be like, yo, defend yourself. Right?
Exactly.
You don't play a part in something. So with this, like I said, I don't get into the arguments about Ramas, what works, who you saved, right? And I'm not into the back and forth, the wego of Palo back and forth doing tira wemba. Nah, I don't
Yeah,
have time.
it's no point.
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
You know,
Because I understand that you still got an answer for that shit.
there's a lot of shady stuff going out there. Tatas talking about other tatas instead of coming as a community. People putting other people down. Tata trying to stealing godchildren from other people. Talking bad about their godfather. Trying to catfish that godson, that child by saying I'm better. There's people didn't do the right things and stuff like that. Fill their heads up with stuff, and then the godchildren leaves, and then they find out that they were better off in the other house.
Well, listen. So you say you come to me with a gun and you say that the shit don't work. I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna first try to find a way to fix it. Fuck taking the shit apart. Is there something I could put on top of this shit to get this shit going? Right? Is there a treaty that I can create to make the Egun be comfortable in the spot that they're working? Right? Because you also have to factor in this. If you've had this Nganga for 10 years and I tell you all of a sudden the shit don't work, you put a lot of energy into this thing. It's been a part of your household. I'm gonna just tell you to throw the shit out? Nah. Let me see if I can fix it. Only way I'm telling you to throw the shit out that is garbage is if the Egun is adamant about like, yo, this shit don't work. Get it out of here. And I still be like, yo, listen. Okay. If you want, you keep it in the back porch or some shit, just, you know what I'm saying? Because you have nostalgia with that thing. Because I understand that people pray into something. You understand? And you coming along and telling them that this shit don't work, that shit ain't cool. You understand? Just so you can make a couple dollars? No. You got a Nganga, if the shit working, my job is to help the shit, you know what I'm saying, to give it an oil change, so to speak.
Yes.
You know what I mean? To lift the Nganga up, spark it up, to get the shit working, get a tratal between you and the Nganga so that you understand how the Nganga works and get it going. It's not for me to come in your house and try to sell you some fucking goddamn plant pots. I hate that shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because like I said, a lot of people don't even need to have Nganga.
Exactly. Yes, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to make their comments, to say what they need to say. One thing is, you are entitled to go against what Oba and I are saying, entitled about anything that we put out there on social media, but there's a respectful way of doing it.
But, listen, I'm not even involved. Do as thou will. The proof is in the pudding.
Of course.
So, see, because people don't like me because they feel like I'm arrogant and I'm adamant about shit. But they don't understand that this is my culture. I don't know nothing else. To see something that you grew up with be bastardized, it hit different.
Yes.
It hit different.
If I come up to you and I say, and I start disrespecting your lineage, if I start disrespecting your godfathers, if I start disrespecting where you're coming from without you even knowing the history of it, that's what I'm talking about.
And so,
disrespect me. Don't disrespect the ones that come, that I learned from. Hate me all you want.
Well, see, listen. There's a story in Egun that they took. It's about the truth and the naked truth. They said Oro and Egungun was sitting on the river. Egungun told Oro, I could beat you on the other side of the river. Oro said, let's do it. Oro started taking his clothes off. He jumped in the water. Egungun took his clothes and took off. As he was running through the street, the people said, look at the truth. Look at Oro. But by the time Oro got out the water and started running and chasing after him, he didn't have no clothes on. And so when people saw him, they said, oh shit, look at the naked truth, but don't look at him. Right? So you recognize it's the truth, but you don't want to look at it because it's, it might arouse you. Right? And so what happens is people, they know what the truth is, but, trendy concepts and things like that allow for people to profit off of things.
Exactly.
And so people are looking for an easy way to make a quick buck.
Exactly.
So unfortunately, because our traditions don't have colloquial provisions to it, right, where you get a certificate, people have been able to take advantage. And so you got all of these pop-up tatas,
Oh, but now
right?
supposedly you're supposed to have a certificate, a little ID that says that you are Tata, and that this is from this and this. I'm like, wait, is that something new? Every day you learn something new, brother.
See, now, here's the thing. For as long as I was scratch tata, I didn't profess that position. My godfather had to be like, no, he's a tata. The same thing with the Orientate position. I don't go around saying I'm an Orientate. I let the old timers tell you this, whether I am or not, right? Because they have the right to qualify. And see, because if you could get a hold of Baba Eli, you'll get the real story.
Hmm.
Baba Eli, I don't know if you know Baba Eli. You know Baba Eli?
No, no.
Baba Eli's a palero. He never made ocha, but he's a gongolero. He plays drums. He's getting a little old and sick now, but he lives upstate New York. I'm gonna see if I can find him. Baba Eli was one of those guys. He was Puerto Rican. He got scratched when he was a teenager, so he been hanging out with the old palero since he was a young man, right? And he knows all of the fucking politics of all of that shit. And so, like again, these are my elders. These are guys that when I see them, yo fukama, what's good? Salam alaikum, you know what I mean? Because they old timers and they have a plethora of information and experiences. The new age is under the auspice that this is a literal tradition that you can read a book and then you can somehow be qualified by that. No, this is an oral tradition. You have to hear the stories, you have to hear the mambos, you have to hear the tratados, you have to hear them talk that shit so that you really get an understanding of it. You feel me? And so, you know, the politics are only going to get worse before they get better.
Okay. There's a comment here is that it says, if you don't have at least 10 years, listen, a person could have gotten there in Kimba yesterday and their spirituality could be so advanced, more advanced than somebody who has been practicing for 40 years.
Right?
It's about the spirituality inside. The initiation just gives them a right, a belonging. But that person could be born with that spirituality. A 10-year-old could have a spirituality way greater than a freaking 60-year-old.
But see, listen to this. The reason why she said that is because, so myself, I was born a phenomenon in this,
Yes, un phenomenal.
right? But not without some context, not without some grooming, right? So that the energy that a young person might come with that's very spiritual, they still need cultivation.
Yes, guidance.
And right, and this is what the time gives. See, because everybody want to do everything right now, right? And so I could have had Ocho a million years before, but I made Ocho at the right time when I was supposed to, right? Because at that moment when I made it, I was ready to accept that responsibility. Same thing with Congo. Like I said, I done got scratched with candy over the Nganga before all that before they hurled me. But my time was my time so that I took it seriously. So like I said, it was a day that my godfather was like, yo, no more, you gotta get out the streets. And I was like, what are you talking about, partner? He's like, nah, you gotta do this. I was like, this shit don't pay. He's like, yeah, but you still gotta do it. And so understand, my life is, I live off of this, but I don't overcharge people. I charge just enough for the person to get what needs to get done. And I let the Nkisi and the Egon and the Ocha take care of the rest. You feel me? Because my faith is stronger like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have shown me evidence that they work. And so what I want people to understand is, yeah, the time is, like you said, there's some people that are born that they come with the gift, but the time is important. because there's people that I might know more Ocha than them, but they got a certain amount of years in Ocha that they provide a certain amount of wisdom to me.
Knowledge, but I'm talking about spiritually.
Yeah, well, spiritually, we all on our own. We all are on our own level, right? We all have our level that we're at, that you're born with. Some shit you just can't. It's you're born with that, and
Yeah.
nobody can take that from you.
An
You
example.
know what I mean?
An example. I might have an arsenal of Ngangas, yes?
Right,
Brother Oba could just mess me up with a glass of water.
right, right. Because of experience. You see? Because of experience. And so it's important that everybody necessarily, you know, they say a knife can't carve its own handle. So you don't qualify yourself. Somebody got to tell you that you are what you are, because we can't see ourselves, right? We may think that we look a certain way, but we may not be shining as bright as we think we are.
Exactly.
Right? So this is why what you're talking about in terms of bringing people together, because what Palo Mayombe has become, it has become a solitary thing where people just do it in their little back rooms by themselves. And it's really a communal thing, right? So the reason why it gets compared and balanced with Ocha all the time is because Ocha becomes all the benevolent stuff and everybody just does all the benevolent shit with the Palo. And so there's no real practice of let's do this Palo shit for the betterment of the community.
Exactly.
Let's go play the Sarabanda and feed Sarabanda under this trunk, under this tree, and play to him and tell him to stop the murders in Chicago. You understand? That he eating too much. You eating too much, Sarabanda. There's too much gunfire and too much of that going on. Turn the lake one.
Yes.
Feel me? This is what it's really supposed to be about. But understand, we're going through a growth spurt right now. These traditions only been here 60 years. As you put in the work and your children come in and your grandchildren come into this, it becomes more embedded in the people. This is why it's very, so now what you don't realize is that we're changing the world right now. I'm a Black American, you're a Mexican American. We're talking about a tradition that came out of Africa, right? Okay. In 30 years, it won't be you're a Mexican and I'm a Black American. It'll be yo, we paleros.
Exactly.
Because what we have to now understand is that it's not about the ethnicity, it's about a creed. That I follow the same mentality that you do. I believe that I'm going to live and die the same way that you do. Right? And so now that cuts out the ethnicities of things and everybody becomes the same. Okay? So that we all meld in together, because now, and this is why spiritualism is so important, because it doesn't force people to abandon their traditions. It don't force you to do that. You can still go to the masjid, but when we have a misa, come sit down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And offer some of that information that the Quran has in terms of a man learning how to discipline himself. Right? So we're looking at the future, that in the future, your grandchildren will be like, oh yeah, you related to Obade Dio? Yeah, my grandfather Carlos should be kicking it with him, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
You understand? It allows us
Unification.
Absolutely. So when I see them doing Ocha in Mexico and in Venezuela, I'm like, absolutely. So that we become a creed. And once we become a creed and we become conscious, then we start to implement our social agenda.
Exactly. And
You
like
understand?
you said, it goes back to las comisiones.
Ache. Because
People
it is
don't
the
understand
collective.
that.
It's the collective consciousness and wisdom of the entire world that everybody has something to contribute.
Yes, and that's another word. We are all a collection conscience. I'm a reflection of you in another dimension, another way.
Right.
another
You are
possibility. We all
exactly. You
come
are
from the
God.
original two seeds.
Right. I'm seeing myself in you in a different version. You're seeing you in me in a different version. Right. Like a disco ball.
Yes,
Right.
and that's what we say: somos o no somos.
So long.
So just
But
like
you have to get more into that, Oba. Um,
together,
that
they were
story that you were telling me
but they were kind of
about
like they didn't care for that long.
the white female that um saved the river. A river you were telling me when we were speaking last
Oh
night with
yeah, the
Azariah.
Oshun River. The Oshun River.
I gotta get one of them coffee shots from what's his name from Tata Jancy's wife.
Mm-hmm.
I need a shot now. There's so much stuff being shared here. Yancy, I need one of them shots, man. You were telling me about this white lady that saved the Oshun River, was it?
Yeah, the Oshun River in Oshogbo.
Yes.
A woman by the name of Susan Wagner was doing her little anthropology research, and they telling her how sacred this river was, and she saw how they was treating it. That she was a dump. And so when she finally got access to the shrines, they said the people told her that they was waiting for her and that she couldn't leave. And so she stayed there for many years, right? And she
Wasn't
became
she Australian? She said.
this Australian, yeah.
But we're
She
talking about the
became
skin color. I know.
she became Mama Dooney,
Mm.
and what she did was she was able to collect the money and get UNESCO to declare it a UNESCO site, right, a landmark. And so that now today that they have the Oshogbo Festival in Oshogbo, that's from the efforts of this white woman, right? Again, the African seizing the opportunity, seeing where the blessing has come, right? Now, let's understand that in earlier times, the reason why colonizers were able to colonize people is because indigenous people
Maleka
are
Bakwendesa.
constantly looking for new genes. Listen to me very carefully. So you always see them, and they be like, the strangers show up, and they got the little Pocahontas girl, and they be like, "Here, they give her to them," because that idea is that if she gets impregnated by one of them, that's going to be new genes to the gene pool of the society, because they can't continue to keep procreating amongst each other because they're all family, and soon the bad genes will start to surface,
Yes.
right? So this is why the indigenous person be like, "Oh, you showed up. Here, take the girl. What do you got? Oh, I got a lighter and shit. Oh, I ain't got to make the stones together. Let me get that." Right? So it is the understanding of them replenishing the genes. So now when the Congos saw the Portuguese coming off the ships, they thought they was the Bakula. They thought they was the Pemba. They're like, "Oh, look at these white people. They're coming off the Kalunga. It's them."
The
And they
Mundeles.
carrying the yo-yo. Look at that. Oh shit, they got the yo-yo. We got somebody up there. Who's up there? Tell me about this guy. Right? So this is how Nzinga was even able to even sit down and have a conversation with the Portuguese. Oh, really? And the dude died and then he came back? Oh yeah, we know that guy. What y'all calling him? All right, cool. That is the nature of Africans and indigenous people all over the world. You got some new shit. Let me see what you got. I'm gonna incorporate it into my grander scheme of things because it's always about the expansion of things.
Yeah, and even in that movie Chaka Zulu, when Shaka is so interested in the Christian God, and he goes and even learns how to read. It's examples like that of what happened a lot. But anyways, Oba, oh, we heard it end this. Is there a possibility for part two? Because we didn't even talk about the Yumba yet.
Sure, we're gonna get into some stuff, Carlos.
We should
But like I
do
said,
a thing with Eric, you, and Yancy together. Come on as a community and say we could come together. We should not be fighting and share
well, here's the
knowledge.
deal, though. I'm gonna say something. So it is gonna take the new era of Paletos to take this thing to the new level. So, for African Americans, it's important that we understand and champion the system that has been given to us, but also once we champion it, we have to now expound it. It's time to elevate certain ancestors that were insurrectors to give them their due. The same way Francisco and Tahoe and Francisca have been deified, it is time for the African American to deify Harriet Tubman, Denmark Vesey, and so on and so forth. The same way it is for you to find to elevate people like Tupac and Allende and these different rulers who help try to maintain the society so that they become impungos that can come back and can interface with us, right?
Agreed.
And so it is time for us to level it up to the next level, as opposed to people inventing shit to put money in their pocket. We need to be inventing new tratados to liberate certain spirits to allow them to assist us in our own liberation, right? So that is the real goal of the Tatas that have any consciousness that are around today, that we need to necessarily create a new regula and a new rule so that the moral fortitude of the tradition is maintained, so that we don't have to have people, doing bullshit to people and allowing shit like that. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
We need to necessarily come together.
Exactly.
Because the society requires it. Okay?
So, guys, thank you for being here with us. Once again, we don't claim to know everything. We are just giving knowledge of what our ancestors, our elders passed down to us. We don't claim to know history exactly how it was because we were not there. Okay, remember, Palo is an oral tradition passed down through word of mouth. There's no books that we follow universal rules to. Everything is different, and each rama, each history that's passed down through our elders. There's no point of us fighting to see who is right or who is wrong.
Right.
And
so once we create the fundamentals, then the people will be able to know the difference between those who are trying to be imposters and those who are really truly doing it.
And Dokiyai.
Wow.
You have a blessed and
same to you.
Same to you, my brother.
Yes,
well, we have to set up a little interview here with all of us together, okay?
Most definite. Everybody have a good night, man.
And Zambia, te too.